My brothers and sisters, have you heard the good word?
Have you heard the legend, the tell of the miracle? The miracle? The Merkel? The Merkel? The miracle? The Chris Miracle? Why have I never called you that before?
He is risen.
And on the third chapter, in accordance with the scriptures, they rose in fulfillment of the prophecy. Hey, Lois,
Hey guys,
did you
this
hear that the
reminds me of the time
JOJOLands
that
came out again this month? Did you read it?
This reminds me of the time that I was on the Locacacast.
Peter, you know I'm not gonna read that thing until it's finished. Lois doesn't read ongoing manga.
You've heard of Christmas in July. We got Easter in January.
In January.
Fuck you! It's January!
Yay!
So when was the
back.
last time we did this, guys?
November?
No.
October?
I don't know about all that.
It couldn't have been September.
June and July 2024, we did that shit. Least exciting day in a U.S. hospital. 18 and 19. Yeah, that came out in October. So the last time we did this shit was October.
October, more like
Well,
Cocktober.
We got
He's pulling his cock out!
we got three
Sorry.
chapters, so we've got no time to spare.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
And
We
the
gotta-
fucking time between last chapter and now, so much has happened to me, but it doesn't matter. The important thing is that not very much has happened to our characters in JoJo.
Not a lot, no.
I liked these chapters though.
I
They're
also
good.
like these chapters. The JoJoLands have been ramping up in a good way that I've been enjoying so far. Now, I also said the same thing to myself when I was reading the first, half of
Oh,
JoJolian, and that kind of didn't go anywhere. But this time, I want to have hope. I want to believe. I want to believe that things will be different this time.
Yeah.
Because at least we're not setting up mysteries and
Right.
like, ooh, I wonder what this could be, only for it to never pay off. It's just immediate, like hit and release of these moments. It's like, okay, we get the payoff. Things are actually happening. The plot is moving forward.
Right.
We're not being left with like, oh, but what does that mean?
I honestly think that although that is a strong point in the JoJoLand's favor, that's also what's making it less podcastable for me. Because JoJolian was a fucking mystery, and I was constantly turning it over in my mind, and like I needed somewhere to put all of those thoughts, and that was this. But the JoJoLands, I'm not like sure quite how to do that with it, because I'm not like, I don't have a lot of theory crafting going on. I mean, I'm theory crafting in the way that like vibes, like where does the story's vibes say that it might go by the end, but I don't know. You guys are catching me. Or go ahead.
Well, it's funny because like the way we record these, we could have had a lot of theories and like time to speculate if we'd actually not kept delaying the podcast, because there was a point in time when Lulu's fate after the battle was uncertain, for example.
Right. I mean, but, I think I mean,
that
if we
got resolved in the next chapter, so
yeah. I mean, but that's the thing, is that like we're speculating like one chapter in advance. JoJolian, I feel like it was a lot more like I have immediate expectations, medium wishes, and long-term hopes. And in the JoJoLands, I'm kind of like, I wonder what'll happen next chapter. I don't know. It's a different story than the JoJolian was.
I mean, I have long-term hopes. I want to see this turn into sort of a Breaking Bad / Death Note style. Okay, the protagonist won. Now it's time for, the fall from grace.
I mean, I'm actually trying to not let myself have long-term hopes this time, because last time I pinned my happiness on yeah, and then I didn't get it, and then so
I'm definitely taking the JoJoLands on a chapter by chapter basis.
You guys are catching me at a. I was thinking about this last night. I was rereading the chapters to be prepared for the podcast today, and I was thinking to myself, like, man, I am really at like a low point of my JoJo fandom. You know what I mean? Like, you have like a sine wave that goes up and down, and like you're really, really into it, and it's all you want to think about and talk about, and then it goes down, and you're into other stuff, and then you're back, like when the new shit comes up. Oh, excuse me. But
Bless you.
like that happened to me when I first got into JoJo. I was like super, super into it. Fucking parts 1, 2, 3, read 5, 6, 7, watch 4. Read part of 8, and then I got burned out. I read like up until Yotsuyu Yagiyama, ring the bell, and then do you have a bell to ring in their case? Mark's got the bell! Yeah! That's my dog right there! Only needs one sound! He's the GOAT! I love that Yagiyama bell. Oh, don't shit on me now. What was that, poop?
No, it's the puffer fish.
The puff? Never mind.
You never seen that video of the puffer fish? They're like, it's in like a Japanese restaurant, and they're feeding the puffer fish a carrot before they go chop them up into fugu.
So I have. I don't know it by sound, but I know the GIF. I know.
Yeah, and he goes,
a little carrot slice goes into his mouth.
Oh. Which I didn't know puffer fish could groan in ecstasy.
I didn't know they could moan in pleasure at their delicious carrot slices.
Kinda cool, actually.
Why do they bring the lobster out to the table before you eat it so that you can look at it in its eyes?
Because it has to know its place.
Its place was in the ocean, first of all.
No.
Yes, you grew up out there.
You don't know that for sure.
So it's so you can look at it and say, wow, this thing's an idiot. I bet it's barely sentient. Let's eat it.
Yeah, it'll taste better once you see it.
Once you've decided it's not worthy of living, it'll taste better.
Yeah.
Well, it's like Kurt Cobain said. It's okay to eat fish because they don't have any feelings.
Yeah, that's how we hunted. That's why we hunted the mammoth to extinction.
Yeah, but clearly fish do have feelings. If that puffer fish is like combing his pants over the deliciousness of that,
I'm pretty sure that's just a sound it makes every 10 seconds.
That sounds like a fun existence then.
You just never hear it because it's usually below the water.
Yeah, normally it sounds like blub.
Blub.
But yeah, I feel like you guys are catching me. Not necessarily you two, but the audience is catching me at a time of, like, I'm running critically low on my JoJo fandom reserves. Like, my juice is low. I love JoJo, and I always will, but that thing where it's like your constant background thoughts that made me want to even make the podcast in the first place is not there with me right now. And it's like the same thing as when I first started JoJolian and I read like 20-30 chapters, and then I was like, you know what, man, I'm like kind of burnt on all this Joj. I'm just gonna come back when this is a little more done. And then like 4 years later I came back and read up to like chapter 90, and then I was like, Chris, this is the greatest story ever told, we gotta talk about it. So, you know, it's like, I don't know, I don't really need anything to happen or change based off of that information. I'm just like letting y'all know I'm sort of in like an ebb right now. The tide has gone out for me.
Well,
it'll come back in, but it's understandable, I hope.
I mean that makes sense. I mean,
no, it is. It's understandable.
We're coming off of JoJolian, which was definitely a low point for the series in terms of where the ending went.
I mean,
Mhm.
I hate for you to put it like that, but
Casey and I were joking about oh no, what if what if Howler is a red herring and there's actually another secret main villain, and what if he shoots him during this confrontation? And it's like, oh no, what if they poor Tom him? Because it's like that's the worst thing I think that could happen to JoJo.
Yeah,
We
worst
get
case
two bad parts in a
scenario.
row.
Yeah. Well, the worst case scenario is 2 bad parts in a row, and the JoJoLands is the last part of JoJo.
Well, it's good. That's what it's gonna be. I mean,
Like, what if it just
you
ends
think
on
he
a
has to
wet
bartend
fart,
him?
and we're just like, oh no, that wasn't very fun.
I almost liked where the series ended with JoJolian, because even though I didn't get the things that I wanted, I didn't get my narrative fulfillment from that story.
Yeah, I didn't get the
still-
thematic conclusion to the arc.
I still
It
liked
it had third act problems.
It did.
Mm-hmm.
I
I didn't get what was promised.
I still really liked that the JoJo series starts with a carriage going over a cliffside and ends with a guardrail. Like,
Yeah.
I thought that was kind of like weird, hilarious, perfect symmetry. And if the series ended there, it would have been something beautiful about it.
Yeah, there's a neat parallel between that moment and the beginning of the JoJos. The
Joj. Well, let's open up this fucking can of Joj, ain't we?
There's something to be said about unsatisfying endings that are, poetic.
Right, purposefully done that way. Like the kid dying of a cold in Steel Ball Run.
I recently finished The Sopranos as an example.
Oh, I haven't started that.
I'm not going to talk about the ending then.
Well, I know that the ending is that they play Don't Stop Believin' and then nothing happens. You're left wondering, like, wait, that was it? I know that that's the ending.
So I'm in the camp that I don't like the ending of The Sopranos, and yet I would not change anything.
I've had it explained to me that it's like they're playing the song and like the episode's like ending, like the time is ticking down, and you're supposed to be feeling like, what the fuck? Like, isn't something gonna happen? Like, is he gonna? Are they gonna get him or aren't they? Like
all I'll say is all the clues are there for you to draw your own conclusion, and it's pretty definitive, I think. I just don't like how they presented it, and yet I wouldn't have changed anything if I were David Chase.
I like a creative decision like that, where you're like, I would not do that, but I don't want you to change it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like, I wish I could say that about JoJolian, I wish I could.
Yeah, I wish.
I can't quite get to that place.
That's the other thing is, I was gonna say, I do like when you have enough, you're left with enough that you can come to your own conclusion, and it's not all explained or handed to you. But JoJolian also doesn't reach that point where I don't feel like I was given enough that I can make my own conclusion.
JoJolian leaves several questions completely unanswered.
Not only unanswered, but you don't have enough pieces to answer them.
Unanswered.
It's just like, there was the flashback man.
Since the first act, I might add.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like, the flashback man. Cool.
I mean,
anyways,
like,
that's it. That's all you get.
Killing Jobin off screen. I mean, not off screen. We saw it happen. But killing Jobin and then just deciding that he's dead but Norisuke is not is the most ridiculous fucking No Country for Old Man Llewellyn Moss dies off screen bullshit that I've ever seen in a fucking story.
Absurd.
And he didn't pull it off. He did not pull it off. Like, I know what he was trying to do. I understand the feelings I was supposed to have. Oh no, the threat has been eliminated by a worse threat. What are we going to do now? But the worst threat is so much less narratively tied in to the protagonist. Like, Jobin just killed Norisuke. Josuke, at this point, is kind of his son, too. Like, you need to have them clash over who's going to be Norisuke the Fifth, the new head of the family. But instead,
it will never,
that emotional conflict is, like, solved for Josuke and Jobin by Jobin dying. Instead of, like, eating the meat on that bone, we just, like, got rid of it. We were just like, let's skip past that. Like, what are you doing skipping past that? That's the good stuff. You wasted time on other shit. I honestly hope that before he dies, we get like a tell-all, you know what I mean? Like, I literally wanted to do JoJolian for 3 more years, but they wouldn't let me.
Right. It will never not be insane to me that the first and last direct physical confrontation that Josuke had with Jobin was the beetle fight.
I've said this 1,000 times, but it's like that's Hank and Walt by the pool arguing over the bottle when he's pouring Walt Jr. shots. It's like a social battle that's happening before either of them has truly like revealed themselves, and they needed to have another clash later after they both know who each other is. And I don't know, you just left that one on the table. That was the most delicious thing on the plate, Araki, and you sent it back to the kitchen untouched.
Yeah, like I will always say it, the first half of JoJolian is so good. It's so good. It's great.
What would you think
well,
if the story just
to be fair, we don't know if Araki had seen Breaking Bad yet.
Now we know for sure, and he's
now
also
we
seen
know
The Walking
for
Dead.
sure. And he loves it. He loves it. It's his favorite.
It's almost like I'm. This is like a huge monkey's paw curls moment for me, because I'm like, Araki, why don't you understand good storytelling? For example, like what is done in this show, and then he's like, oh, great idea. I'm gonna watch that right now and use it in the JoJoLands. And I'm like, well, too late, man. I mean, I wanted it over here. I'm glad that you're enjoying it, but.
Yeah, I wanted it where it would have been really good.
The point is, JoJolian sucked, so JoJoLands might be good.
I can live with those odds, question mark.
As long as the last part of JoJo doesn't end on a bad, like, feeling, beat.
Yeah.
It'll feel like it was worth my time to go through the whole thing.
Yeah, I feel like if he sticks the landing in a however appropriate way that he can narratively, if not for the entirety of JoJo, because that's a lot to ask for, but if just within the context of the JoJoLands, if it begins and ends in a way, yeah.
The thing is, though,
I enjoyed that.
I wouldn't expect to be serviced as a fan at all. You know what I mean? Like, if he is gonna do anything that's gonna have a feeling of like landing the plane on the whole series, it's gonna be much more like the bittersweetness of like the ending of part 6. You know what I mean?
I mean, like that still was an ending.
That is still the ending to JoJo, technically.
It sucks because people don't get it. People are like, well, that's like lame because they don't have stands. It's like, you fool. Having a stand is actually not awesome. Having a stand
actually really bad.
People are gonna.
It was disastrous for their family and closest friends and everyone involved in their lives. Having a stand was a curse.
Literally.
My brother in Casey, that was the point.
My brother in Casey.
It's true.
But yeah, literally, like, people are like, oh, well, it's not a happy ending because they lost their powers. Like, bitch, you don't want powers in this universe.
No,
you really don't.
That is, in fact, that is the happiest ending any of those characters could have asked for.
It is.
You
like
saw
a written.
You saw what their actual. Yeah, you saw what their ending was, and it was not.
It's like a written fact of the way that the JoJo universe works that stand users are destined to encounter and fight each other. So having a stand, while awesome, is also a life sentence to a life of combat and fear and panic and trying to evade supernatural attacks.
Fighting to the death.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You're a fucking gladiator. Like,
fighting to the death
would be a lot
or
happier
worse.
Not being a gladiator.
Yeah, fighting to the death or worse if Josuke
being killed suddenly by something you cannot comprehend.
Yeah, or Giorno Giovanna with Gold Experience Requiem gets either of their hands on you, because Giorno will kill you in brutal and creative ways. Josuke won't kill you in brutal and creative ways. He'll just turn you into a rock or a book or an inanimate object forever. And
Who's the most
that's what you get.
Who's the most brutal JoJo? Who uses their stand in the most brutal way?
It's gotta be Giorno, because he explicitly kills Diavolo forever.
Although I don't know if that's something that was done like by Giorno
It was
specifically.
it
Like
wasn't.
are they from his imagination? Like every kill
Giorno,
method, or is it just
it is
happening?
almost explicitly stated that Giorno doesn't know what happened to Diavolo. He just intuits that the threat is over. Gold Experience Requiem acted on its own accord to do that
Okay,
because that's what
but
it
also he
does.
made a beetle explode out of a guy's head.
He did
He
do
did
that,
do that. He
but
did do that.
again, at least you die.
I'm gonna say it's between Giorno and Josuke 8, like punching Tamaki Damo in the face, exploding his fucking rock head along the wall, and like his eye hanging there in midair for a second
bit.
is awesome. It's one of the
I
most
just
brutal
think
kills in all of JoJo.
I gotta say, the evolution of Araki's art style is definitely pulling a lot of weight in that scene.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. I still think it's Josuke Part 4, just because he's not going to kill you, but he's going to fuck you up in creative and horrifying ways.
The zombies in Part 1 would have had some grotesque and gnarly fates if Araki's art style had been there.
Yeah. I almost want like a have either of you read or know about the manga / new anime Pluto?
Pluto.
I've heard of this. Yes, it's the Astro Boy thing, right?
Yes, it is a retelling of the greatest robot story arc of Astro Boy, but done by, and I forget the manga author's name off the top of my head, but he's the guy who did Monster and 20th Century Boys. Naoki Urasawa, and he did Pluto, which is a retelling of the Astro Boy story arc, but from the perspective of one of the other robots that's not Astro, the detective robot who's investigating Pluto. And it hits most of the same story beats, but obviously fleshed out and expanded in a different artistic lens. I almost kind of want that for like JoJo Part 1 to really beef it up, you know? Because I'm not of the opinion, like some people are, that Phantom Blood is boring or mid or deserves to be skipped, because I don't think that's true. But imagine it just got like a fresh coat of paint through a different creative lens.
Yeah,
imagine Part 1 through.
This is actually a thing that Japanese media does a lot. I mean, they remade the first 2 Kamen Rider series as live action movies, which are a lot more. Like I mean, the second one is basically a straight up horror film.
Yeah.
There's a guy who he's working on Daima right now. He's been saying for a long time, like, please let me remake Dragon Ball. Like, the anime is beautiful and 90s and perfect and awesome, but actually, if you really look close, neither the original nor Kai are perfect in replicating like what the manga was supposed to do. Kai was a step in the right direction, but it was like they were manipulating existing footage. Like, they didn't really draw new stuff for Kai. They did some paint overs, but they were still manipulating existing footage. They were essentially like making an abridged series of their own shit. And so like you're cutting around the things that were added, but you are still dealing with the same footage that they drew in the 90s, which is not always like the exact shit that went down in the manga the exact way it went down. But yeah.
And you never really see like this kind of thing in Western media. You know, you don't have visionaries remaking old stuff and taking a different spin on it.
Yeah, and like other people's old stuff too.
No, you don't.
Yeah.
Here's the
Well,
thing:
well,
in
you
Western
can't
media,
because of copyright law.
Yeah.
in Western media, you don't have visionaries remaking old people's work. You just have whoever the fuck remaking whatever the fuck.
You know why? Because the visionaries
However
are
the
doing
fuck.
their own shit.
Exactly, because you have the
Because they
visionaries
have because of
making
copyright
original
law.
stuff. Yeah, actually, to be fair, and I can tie this directly into the conversation. I just watched Robert Eager's Nosferatu movie, 2024,
cool.
Oh,
the
nice.
remake adaptation of the original Nosferatu.
Sweet.
That's a visionary taking an old piece of work and reimagining it.
And how long
And
did we
not
have to wait for it? Like
well,
100
100 years, yeah.
100 years, almost exactly.
But now that we've got him doing this kind of stuff, we could maybe expect more of that, or just more brand new original stuff like The Lighthouse, which could be argued is very, very loosely based off of an unfinished.
Was that the same director?
It
Robert
is.
Eggers,
He's
yeah.
done.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
done the Vitch, The Lighthouse, The
The
Northman,
Northman?
and
I
now
haven't
all the
seen.
weird. He does all
I have
the
not
weird,
seen The Northman
horror
yet.
films with Willem Dafoe.
With Willem Dafoe, who has already signed up for his next two projects, one being a Western and one being a medieval time period movie, which is
that's
also fascinating about his work, is that they are all as 100% or near 100% period accurate as they can be. So it's not like I'm remaking something through a modernist
Right.
lens.
This is
I am
something that I wanted to say
preserving
about
the
him.
integrity. Yes. I am preserving the integrity of this time period.
I wonder what that Western is going to be about.
I don't know. I want it to be a
lot of
Western
interesting
horror.
stuff you can
I
do with that
haven't
set.
seen a ton of his films, but I did see someone saying on Twitter that like Robert Eggers is special because he specifically, this is the reason, it's like most people in directors working in Hollywood today, if they do a period piece, they have the characters from the time basically just like morph and shift to be like us from now. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
They're like
Yeah,
modern, like
it's a
white
modernist-
liberal thought,
Exactly.
cosplaying as whatever that history person.
And not only does he not do that, he like it's an almost unbiased approach. Like he's not saying like, "Oh, look at how backwards they used to be
Right.
in 18th century Germany." It's just like, "No, this is a matter of fact. This is how things were." He's not saying it was right or wrong. It's just how it was.
Right.
And that's where I feel like a lot of other
not
directors would fumble.
softening
They'd be
it
like,
for us in the
Mhm.
present is really important, you know? Like there's a bit in
Exactly.
the fucking Northman where he tells his wife like, "Hey, if our baby is a girl when it comes out, just go ahead and drown it and we'll try again." And it's
Yeah.
like,
yeah,
yes,
I saw someone
that's what he was
compare
like, man.
compare that to like what if Gladiator was period accurate
Right.
and Russell Crowe would have absolutely tossed his daughter off a cliff into a lion's den or whatever.
100%.
Right,
You can
like
absolutely-
that's what would have happened. But we got the
You can-
romanticized. And to be fair, Gladiator's a great film. Not exactly period 100% accurate.
Fucking no way.
But it's like you don't need to soften history. You
Right,
can,
and it's more
you-
interesting when you don't.
there
When you don't.
are certain things that are bad today that have always been bad, like slavery,
Cruelty
that,
in
like-
general always
Mhm.
been unfashionable, kind of ugly. You know,
Yeah.
the thing is that when you don't soften it and everything is as real as it can be, viewing that authenticness, you can kind of get a feeling of like, oh man, shit's always been like this. You know, people in
let
the
that-
past have
let
had
the
lives and
horror-
struggles very similar to mine, just with different coat of paint.
you
Mhm.
can let the timeless horror speak for itself.
Right. Because when you've like modern washed it, you know, then it's like, I don't know, you don't have that feeling of like really engaging with another time. It's like being at Disneyland. Like it's still now. We're just
Yes.
it's like set dressing, you know.
Exactly. It's like going to the Renaissance fair.
Right. Exactly.
And
like,
everyone's like, "Ooh, what is that glowing device of which you hold in thine hand?"
And I'm like, it's a phone. And the knight is like, no cap!
Yeah, exactly. And it's just like,
Ugh.
oh, you get that secondhand, like, actual cringe. You're like, ugh.
But then, like, in a fantasy movie, then, like, the knights go to the castle and they have a big feast. In a fucking Robert Eggers movie, they're eating, like, bread with salt on it.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, it's not
And it's
glamorized.
something...
I really like that.
No. And just a quick side note on his set dressing, because I've been watching interviews of it too. He will, like, pull out the nines for his set decorations, and
He'll start shooting people?
no, not the not like decked out to the nines. You know what I mean?
He's like doing the John Woo like double pistol draw from each armpit.
I mean, he might as well be
he
with
pulls
how
out the nines.
Commits.
Now I want this set looking good, or you're gonna get it.
He does, and a lot of it doesn't even end up in the film.
The Alec Baldwin special tonight.
Oh God!
Oh no!
Now you better get those lights hang, or else you're gonna get the Baldwin special. We're not gonna
shoot our shot. Not gonna shoot our shot like Alec Baldwin.
Oh boy!
But no, there will be like set dressing that just doesn't even make it into the film. It's just there for the actors and the set and the crew to feel like they're in that period. There will be props and like period accurate. It's never even considered to be filmed. It's
verisimilitude. Not real, but a reasonable simulation of the real.
It's a tone setter. It's ambiance.
Right.
Exactly. And characters will have backstories and like written letters and dynamics that are never explained, but it's just there for the actors themselves to understand who their character is, how they are in relation to the other actors, their characters, etc.
That's
very interesting stuff
that our boy Hirohiko Araki does quite well. You guys ever seen
those
character sheets he has for everyone? It's fucking extensive as hell. He knows their favorite food and, like,
long.
If they've ever broken any bones and shit.
Yeah, no, I love his character sheets because it is information that will almost never come up in canon, but just knowing it, you could be like, oh yeah, that makes total sense and really expands on the character.
And I'm starting to relate to that because I'm starting to relate to that because somebody I follow asks daily questions that are like, you know, character building stuff and like setting, like world building. And, you know, I find myself answering with stuff that I know I'm never going to actually integrate into the story. But, like, you know, it's good to know these things about your character. It's
there for you, exactly. Right. It's a tool for yourself. Like, how would this character react in this situation? I don't know. Let's explore that. What is this character, you know, about? What is he like?
You know what fucking Jodio's like, me desperately trying to get us onto the chapter so we can make some progress. He's like, really cool.
You know what? I think you're right.
Let's play through chapter 20 and because we got very little time.
Yeah.
And 3 chapters to get through.
So, this is kind of a combat chapter. This is like the fight is happening. We open hail of bullets, lots of awesome artwork, but not a ton to say. Bobby Jean chases Jodio into the bathroom. Really fucking great looking scene. Not a lot to say though.
Jodio's having a heart attack.
He's looking underneath the stalls. He's having a heart attack. His heart is getting punched by little Lulu-chans or whatever they're called.
The Bags Groove.
Right. And he's figuring out the water droplets. He's shooting. He's still shooting. He's looking around. He's shooting. He's shooting his bullets. The bullets are traveling. The bullets aren't hitting Jodio. The bullets are hitting the November rain droplets and it's going away. See, this is something that I think is really cool about both Josuke and Jodio. Beyond that they're both water types Pokemon. I also really, really like that both of them early in their story got a moment where they were like, nah, I'm not using this shit for attack/defense anymore. I'm using it for the other one.
But I'm using it to kill.
It was the other way, you know? Josuke was like, I'm not using my bubbles for defense. I'm using them for attack. Jodio started off attacking, and now he's turned the rain bullets into his shield as well. I think that's fun.
I do like the panel of him in the stall where it kind of looks like he's just behind D4C's love train.
Yeah, it really,
With the
really
way
does
that,
look
with
like
the
that.
way
How
that
did
the
we never
rain
put
is
that
coming
together?
down around him, yeah, it looks exactly like the shimmers of light of the
Right.
dimensional barrier. It's really a neat parallel.
That's crazy. I can't believe I didn't put that together. It looks exactly like that.
It looks exactly like it. It's one of the first things I picked up on. I was
The
like,
very
oh shit,
same.
look at that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, so continuing on, boom, bullets. He kicks the door open. He sees you on the ground. Still no hits. No suspicious moves. Get your hand out your pocket. Da 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 da. Bobby Jean's coming in closer. Hand it over. Jodio's on the ground. And then boom, water droplet kills him through the top of the head, through the bottom of the chin. Bam, falls down dead. Lulu crying. Ooh-ah! Runs over to him.
Bobby Jean, no,
as soon
my
as her
goat.
focus breaks, as soon as she's like not, as soon as she's not sound of mind anymore, she's over there screaming and crying about Bobby Jean. I guess her stand just totally deactivates.
Pesci, she is not.
Yeah, no, I mean she's not gonna
No,
lock
she
in.
does the opposite of locking in. She dials down.
Also, this is Breaking Bad as fuck. We encountered two enemies and we defeated them, killing one and capturing the other. And now we've just got them in our possession. Like, oh shit, what are we gonna do now?
We've got them in our inventory.
Yeah.
Now we have this evil child.
I have the evil child in my inventory. I gotta go put it in an ender chest.
Yeah.
So
I gotta put her into my Resident Evil 4 cache case.
I don't have enough space in my cache case, so I had to put her in my Resident Evil 4 item box.
Gotta move some herbs around.
Yeah, I want to see like the grid and like Luchan is just being rotated to try and fit into it.
You know what? Fuck you. Rotates your Lulu-chan.
Rotates your Lulu-chan.
You know what?
Now,
Fuck you. Rotate.
fuck you. I will say I liked the action bits of this chapter.
Oh yeah.
But I also kind of didn't like how conveniently everything wraps up in a nice little bow.
Yeah. Here's the
It's
thing.
like the second that Lulu locks out,
Right.
it's just like, oh, we're all better now. Her stand can't actually leave lasting damage once she calls it off, apparently.
The thing is, like, they should have at some point in this series, I'm talking JoJo as a whole, codified in the mechanics of the battles that, like, hey, if someone deactivates their stand or their stand ceases to exist, all the damage it did also does. Because that would really make a lot of sense. Like, series-wide, that would fill, like, every injury-based plot hole we've ever had all at once. But, like,
a little bit.
It was never directly stated that if you kill a stand, the injuries it inflicted go away. But it seems to work that way, doesn't it?
If Jotaro punches you and then Star Platinum goes away, do you not get punched anymore? Like, does the big smush of your cheek just disappear?
Yeah, I mean, it does for the characters, though, doesn't it?
It does for the characters, because did we not read verbatim that Lulu's stand gives you cancer? It creates tumors in your body? Or does it just hit you inside of your body?
It creates pulmonary edema. I don't fucking
right,
know.
Because Usagi, up until this point, has spent, like, the last 5 chapters having his entire cardiovascular system destroyed.
Just ravaged by these little guys, yeah.
And he's lost, like, 90% of his brain function. And then we cut to him now, and he's just like, oh, what's going on? He doesn't even have, like, a headache or a cough. He's just like, oh, hey, Pink-chan, what's going on?
He doesn't even have a headache.
It was sure nice of Bad Grooves to restore all of that damage.
On their way out,
his body.
Her stand operates under the rule of place worse than you left it.
It's like in a cartoon when somebody's like, you two, stop fighting! And they like get up and kind of like dust each other off and fix each other's hair and clothes. Like, here you go. Let's just put that right back where it was.
Her stand might as well have been a Tom and Jerry like cartoon cloud of like arms and legs fighting, you know, like the dust bubble.
It's drawn like that, Casey, in some panels.
It kind of is, you're right. With how many arms and legs they actually
the little
have.
little legs that they have.
Yeah.
And also, it's
The
clear now
multi-legs.
that they don't have 6 legs. They have 2 legs each, which
Right.
is a little lame. I kind of liked it when they were.
I
weird
also
little
liked it when they had
six-legged
6 legs.
Well, that would be 8 legs, including the legs which are arms. But
It's true.
yeah.
It
So
likes the wall.
It looks cool. The
Usagi is
rule of
like
the cool.
waking up now, and Jodio is stepping on the bag's groove, and then he's like, "You're leaving with us." And then she's crying. Paco
Come
wakes
with us,
up.
child.
Does he actually step on it though? It doesn't look like he steps on it.
It looks like he's
Looks like
trying
he
to.
stopped himself.
Well, I mean, the thing is, we see his shoe encroaching on one and then getting closer, and then we see them running away to Lulu, and then we see Lulu, Jodio, I don't know what he was to you, and then the next panel, they're under his foot! They're under his foot! I was looking at the front foot. I was gonna say that's completely down, so he got him. But the back foot, the one that's further away from the camera, he literally has them right there. So he's got them pinned.
Pinned.
Yeah,
this is not Kira stepping on Harvest.
You're leaving with us. Paco's waking up. The injuries you suffered were only minor. You have some incredible muscles and physique, you know that? And then, where's my clothes and boots? I hate that it's translated as boots, because then you look at him put them on, and they're clearly fucking sneakers. Boots don't look like that.
They do in JoJo. They do if you try hard enough.
Hold up, boys. My shoes are thirsty.
Well, he was in the military. Maybe he's used to asking where his boots are.
I mean, he's not the type of guy who would fucking say high tops, you know what I mean? Probably all shoes are just boots to him.
Maybe.
Alright, so then we're here, we're all in the fucking hospital room. It looks like Howler knows who we are. Usagi and Charming Man are down there, they're safe, we're faking the security cameras, we can leave. Howler knows
put the banker's case in the
right
nook in Paco's room by accident.
Exactly. Dunno, it was left there with my clothes, it ain't mine. He looks through it, somebody else left there by accident. The patient sitting in the bed over in the ICU. He's an employee of Dolphin Bank and the manager of the corporate sales division. There are documents in his bag. Howler has a loan from the bank. He was shot. Seems noteworthy. Ended up here by mistake. The lava rock. And then the congresswoman's daughter is actually not dying either.
She's better, yeah. Immediately.
Well, it's extra crazy. Because she was like the first one to get attacked.
She was dying, yeah. She was dying before Usagi.
Yeah.
She was dying for a longer period of time. But again, I guess the stand only works when it's in your body. We just have to take that at face value.
Man.
It's crazy how easy they get away with this thing where they pressed the fucking fingerprint verification for this guy. He's just like, oh man, did I do it? Yeah, I did that.
I guess I did. It looks like it. Must have been me.
So
to be fair, I mean, he's distressed. He's been distraught over his daughter dying of stand cancer.
Right. But yeah, so we're pretty sure that like Jodio is like, this means it's working. Like we were supposed to get this bag. This means it's working.
And the other reason it works is because if we remember from when they first got the lava rock, it can make you act subconsciously.
Mm-hmm.
Because Dragona was just like, wait, what? Did I put that there? How did that happen? When they were with Rohan. So I guess that does make a little more sense too.
Well, the thing is,
he'd just be like, yeah, I did that.
It didn't seem like it was that she was moving it subconsciously. It seemed at the beginning like it was fucking teleporting. It was in her hands, clasped between both of her hands, and then she opened up her hands to look, and it was in a coffee mug on the other side of the room. So, like, it seemed that at the beginning, this thing was literally zipping around extra dimensionally. But now it seems like it can only be moved through like a Rube Goldberg of people's actions.
Of subconscious action, yeah.
Wait, hang on. That's actually a great way to describe the lava rock mechanism. A Rube Goldberg of people's actions. Like
I
a
kinda
Rube
like
Goldberg
that,
of
yeah.
humanity. No one built it.
gives
It
a
just
li-
is.
It gives it a little more context in the world than if it was just pure magic. So I do appreciate that.
I
being
like
fleshed
that
out.
more than if it was just it teleports. Yes. I mean,
Yes.
because then what fun would that be? Like,
Exactly.
oh,
It'd
there's
just be like, oh, it's-
$100,000 million underneath my desk. I didn't think there was this here. Cool. Good for me.
Yeah. It's just going to come back. I like
Right.
seeing how it comes back, especially when we get like the sillier moments, like the couple on the beach that like fish it out or whatever, and they're like, oh.
Right, and then like that girl, that's part of the Goldberg. The girl was like, "I'm bored. I want to leave." And then he's like, "But I didn't even get the watch back." And she's like, "I don't care."
Exactly.
Like,
Yeah, I'm done with you. I'm going now.
he's like, "Babe."
Babe.
By the way, who has that watch right now? Do we have it still?
I don't remember if it ever came back.
I don't think we cared about it anymore after Charming Man.
Yeah,
defeated.
that
Like,
kind of became the new thing. Is just like,
that
oh,
was the
Charming Man is here
MacGuffin
now.
for the Charming Man fight, and then after that,
Yeah.
I guess we just don't really care.
No.
Wasn't the last time we saw it? It was fished up.
I actually think the last time we saw it was just after we got back to Meryl May's place with Charming Man. I'm pretty sure they put it on the desk
Yes.
along
yes,
with the lava rock.
Oh,
No?
they did. They did as proof that it works. That any associated wealth also accumulates with the rock. With the rock.
Oh, right, because the
Yeah.
guy sold it back to them.
Yeah,
Yes.
she's got the watch and the dollar. Not the dollar. She's got the watch and the original drawing and a bottle of wine and the diamond, and then they tell her about the lava rock.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so everything
Remember the shady street dealer?
Yeah,
He,
at
he
the
got
at the airport.
the watch and sold it back to them.
Yeah, and they're like, "Wait,
And
that watch is broken."
Fish.
Yeah, that watch is broken. It looks like shit. And they're like, "Oh yeah, I guess I can give you a discount." Yeah,
so
it
I
always
was
comes back.
I kind of was like hoping that would stick around and like maybe somebody would be wearing it. You know, like it was Dragona who was in love with the watch. I was kind of hoping it would be her watch.
Yeah, but to be fair, it is like a piece of shit now. It went into the ocean.
Yeah. It's funny though, at the beginning of the very next chapter, we actually do see a watch, but it's Jodio's and it's digital. He's got a Casio like me.
Yeah.
It's cute. Okay, so going back to this. Right. So Jodio's like, we're going to use the documents in this bag to collect the debt in their place. That's the plan.
We're gonna get the big money.
Now, this is something that I'm excited for in terms of like setting up shit that's going to come bite us in the ass later. Jodio says straight up, this is the rule of the lava rock. It's telling us do it.
Yeah.
So like this is setting up that we're going to be those kind of criminals where it's like, hey, opportunity, like it's right there, like fucking
Crime of opportunity,
This is-
exactly.
why don't like the lava rock
is
is
the kind of
giving
thing-
us an in, just go with the flow, man. But the
Yeah,
thing is,
we're
like,
gonna do this because we can.
when you go with the flow like that, but you're in a crime story, you end up dying or going to jail at the end.
Yeah, this
is
is
the
gonna
kind
be
of
the
thing
JoJo. That's why I'm excited for this part. Is like I feel like it's just gonna be JoJo uncut gems. Like we're just gonna keep getting into it again and again and again until it kills us, or we die, or we die trying.
Stressful.
This is the
Merc, what were you saying?
Mhm.
this is the kind of thing that makes me think that we are going to see the heel turn in Jodio.
Oh yeah, it's gonna go to his head. He's gonna be like, I've made it this far. I can't stop. I can't never back down. Never surrender.
I would really enjoy a
Which
sort of Walter White-esque
is why-
overconfident turn for him. You know, when Walt
Yeah.
starts saying shit like, it worked because I say so.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to see that from Jodio. That'd be interesting
Which
to me.
is why,
Let the power go to his head.
which
Yeah.
is also why it's convenient that there's 2 Joestar siblings.
Well,
as
exactly.
our
Like we've been saying
characters.
from the start, it'll set up that dichotomy where Jodio takes the what if Giorno actually was an asshole, evil guy like Dio, and he let that power go to his head instead of using it in moderation or for quote unquote good.
He's got the menacings around him. He's got the go 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 go.
Yeah. He's
Normally
intense.
reserved for bad guys.
And
Or the bad
Paco
guys.
looks scared here actually.
Yeah, even Paco's like, dude, what the fuck?
Even Paco Labrantes is afraid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even Paco is afraid.
Excellent. But yeah, so let's meet at Merrill Maze. Da da da. Paco, can you carry him? Let's bring him with us too. Jodio.
Yeah, add him to the
Jodio, please.
inventory.
This
Put
is a
him
lot.
in the attaché case.
Add him into the
Dragona's
attaché.
fucking hand on the forehead pose
Oh,
is so funny
there's no
to me.
space for him. There's no space for him in the attaché case. It's full of fish.
There's no space for Dragona to even have an exasperated reaction in this chapter, man. She's like stuck in the little corner.
Like, let me out of here.
All right, well, that was the first chapter.
That was the first chapter.
That was
Well,
awesome. I'm glad we got
Chapter
through it so
20
quick.
Done.
Chapter 20 done. I'm glad we
This is another.
breezed through.
Yeah.
That was 20 minutes. We spent 30 minutes gabbing, and at the 30-minute mark, I said, let's get to the chapter. That took us 20 to get through. I'm so happy about that.
Yeah.
It was a combat
And
chapter, so...
Exactly. And chapter 21 is just a dialogue setup chapter. It's a good one. I like it a lot, actually.
Right.
But it's another one that we can probably breeze through. It's just talking.
Indeed.
Just characters gabbing.
I love
It
the
does start
fucking
on this.
shots of Hawaii that we get. I love Araki's background art
I-
in this part.
I was
Even
gonna
though
say,
it really
like-
does seem like just digitized photos sometimes.
It does look like he traced it off a photograph.
But that's the
But
thing.
to-
I don't mind. The purpose of a background is to give us that feeling of being in that location. And
Yeah.
so, like, using reference versus using reference super heavily, I don't really draw a line there.
Well, it's also like, what else was he going to do?
yeah.
Right?
And
Like,
the thing is, like,
what were we expecting?
I want Araki's time and energy to be focused on the character art more than anything else. So, like, if you want to take a little
And-
shortcut in the background, I don't mind at all, buddy. He drew
And
original
he fucking
clouds. Like,
does. Yeah. Yeah, you see the Iraqi clouds back there, the
Yeah.
Part 7 clouds.
so this is not just a digitized photo. There's definitely some tracing happening because it's too perfect. But, like,
And like I've been saying from
not just
chapter
phoning it in.
1. No. Like I've been saying from chapter 1, the character art is,
phenomenal.
I think, by
Fucking
far at
great.
an all-time high. Yeah, just going through this chapter, the expressions, the dynamic, the different faces.
In this chapter and the next one, I have a big point to make about the death, finally and well and truly and fully, of the Iraqi same face. Because you look at
Mhm.
fucking Usagi, and then you look at Paco right next to each other, and
Yeah.
I'm like, this is hilarious. Usagi looks like he's from a different anime. Like, he
Exactly,
looks like
yeah,
Toon Link.
Usagi-
He's got, like, cute,
Yeah,
big,
I was gonna
adorable
say,
eyes.
he has this, like, twinkish, like, girly pretty boy face that we've never really seen of a JoJo character before. Like,
Right.
don't get me wrong, we've had some of the gayest looking guys in
Right,
this
but
show.
they're like models. They're impossibly sharp.
But they're-
Usagi's very
yeah.
round.
Exactly, and that's why I think I've been so endeared to Usagi, because I'm just like, he's so different. He's such a different character than standard JoJo fare. That's why I like this cast a lot.
Yeah.
I like the JoJoLands Crusaders, because they're all so different.
We've got to think of a name for these goons.
I know. I wonder if that'll like come up organically just via us reading it, or if they themselves will be like, let's call ourselves, they create their own crime syndicate name. Like
The
this
Wet
is
Bandits.
the Wet Bandits, the birth of the new universe Passione. if
Do you
would.
have anything? Do you have any liquidy sound effects to play? The Wet Bandits.
Oh,
do you have
geez,
anything watery or liquidy? Don't play diarrhea. Don't do that.
Well, soda. It's kind of like a liquid, you know.
Whack.
I
You
also
guys
have
didn't hear this, but right before we started the podcast, no, I told you. Right before we started the podcast, Casey was fucking pressing 90 buttons on the soundboard.
Zoe, you can't hand him a loaded gun and say, "Don't shoot me with it."
It's that infamous Hellboy panel where it's like, that monkey's got a gun. And it's just a monkey like shooting a fucking Glock. It's great. It's good stuff.
They're just little people. Don't give them guns.
Don't give a monkey a gun. They're
like
dangerous enough without them. Give a baby a gun. Babies aren't dangerous enough.
A chimp with a machine gun is like Jimmy with a law degree.
Exactly.
Oh man.
Oh boy, you with the gun.
All right. I like this opening scene of this guy. Well, the thing I was going to say about the backgrounds is that the whole purpose of the background is give you the feeling that you're there, and I really think the backgrounds have been working well. I feel like you can feel the texture of the location. You never forget we're in Hawaii, you know?
Exactly. I like it. I like it a lot. It's a very distinct. I feel like other JoJo parts, especially the ending of JoJoLand. It's like, okay, we're in the hospital. Where are we gonna be next chat? We're in the hospital. Where are we? We're in the hospital. We're in the hospital. We're in the Higashikata estate. We're back in the hospital. We're in the Higashikata. We're in the hospital. It's like, okay, I'd like a different setting now, please.
I mean, like,
I'd like a change of scenery.
The front half, the front 9 of JoJoLand is like really cool with using the setting of Morio to its full advantage, like Shakedown Road.
I was gonna say, I wish we
that.
got more unique places, because all of part 4, it has the fun recurring gimmick of we're setting up unique locations, tourist traps, whatever.
Basically, the only unique location we get after the second half, like in the whole second half, because where are we in the second half? We're at the fucking hospital, and we're at the Higashikata estate.
Yeah,
the only new location we get in the whole second half, I think, is like when they go to the mountain with Mamazuku. That was like the last time there was like a cool new location we hadn't been to before.
Pretty much, as far as I can remember.
Speaking of that fight on the mountain, I'm gonna bring up Urban Gorilla next chapter, because there's one of the girls who gets introduced as part of Howler's gang looks like Urban Gorilla to me.
Oh my god, I can totally see that now that you've said it.
It was so funny. When I first saw her, I was like, oh, cool Urban Gorilla mask. And then I was like, oh no, she's bald.
No,
she's bald, but also not bald. She's just got hair on the back, just none on top.
I have a lot to say about these characters, because I love them. I love the Howler Goons so much.
I want to say, let's say that when we get there. But we open on this, and the guy is playing golf, and he completely misses, and then he pours himself some nice scotch, and he fucking eats some candies, and he's like, damn, this shit is good. And he calls his wife, and he's like, the magic words, and then we realize, oh, this isn't even him. This is Charming Man impersonating this guy. Charming Man
as the bank teller Yokohama.
Which is great, because, like, this is the kind of shit that I wanted. Like, I mean, sure, yes, he has disguised himself before when he went in to go look at the land deed or whatever.
Yeah.
But, like,
And when he disguised as Paco.
Yeah.
That's the first thing he did.
Yes.
That's the first thing we saw him do.
That is the first thing we saw him do. That's true. Yeah. I was like, man, this whole disassembling yourself and making your eyeball go inside of your saggy thing, like, that's cool, but that's not actually what I was introduced to your power as. Like, that's not actually what I know it to do.
I'm glad that's
to create illusions.
Exactly. That's not what this ability became.
Right.
And
I was going to be so upset if we just got away from the illusions thing.
Oh, yeah. If we, in real time, saw the stand ability change from one thing to another, like, oh, it's not bubbles anymore. It's spinning lines. Yay.
Well, I hesitate to even cook him for that, because that goes hard. It could have gone harder.
It could have gone harder. Yes.
It's I don't know. That goes hard. It could have worked better. But the
Or it's not like plundering, I should say. Like when he could just take entire
yeah.
concepts.
I
It's just I'm going to put something in a bubble.
plundering is fucked
I'm
up
going to put
because I completely forgot about it.
Yeah.
That would have been a much better
Like,
example. Changing
plundering,
it halfway
I'm
through.
going to take the concept of friction from the ground. Oh, okay. We're just doing that now.
Yeah,
Versus
I don't
I'm
know.
going to put this in a bubble and then fire it off later.
I mean,
But yeah,
I
no.
feel like I liked the way that he used it in the fight with Daya, where he was able to like store the sound and then play the sound back when it popped.
That was probably the best use of the stand, and it has never been used better
Never
since.
again. Never ever.
Whatever. So stop talking about JoJolian. By the
Yeah,
way,
that's true.
I'm really into a new streamer, a guy that I like. He's not new. He's been around for like 15 years. But Northern Lion, you guys know this guy?
Yes, I do. I need to get into him because I have friends who like Northern Lion. They say that he reminds them of me, and that I would like him.
I think that there's a little bit of Northern Lion in all of us.
In all of us.
But
yes.
I think that I wanted to share with you guys something that I tweeted the other week. I tweeted pronouncing Northern Lion like JoJolian from now on.
Northern Leon. Northern Leon, yeah, that's good. I like
anyway,
that.
Northern Leon.
Northern Leon.
Northern Leon. Anyway. Yeah. So there's the guest is here in the lobby to see you. Oh yeah, he talks to his wife and he says that the magic words
we have
are,
to
I love you.
to say the secret words.
My nether regions
pointed the other way, you bitch cat. It's like, what the fuck?
My loins are unamused, feline.
I love Araki continuing to give characters, even like supplemental background characters, weirdly distinct moments of them just being freaks for no reason.
I think it's kind of like part of his essential Iraqi-ness and his worldview.
Yeah,
is that like
it's
everyone's
part of
a
the
freak,
charm.
actually. Like no one's normal. Like when observed, everyone's freaky. If you actually get a good look at them.
We've seen this since like I think it was part 3 is when we started seeing weirdly dressed background characters.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, with like really distinct weird faces and shit.
Like one of the people that Dio knocks over in the stop time.
Right. No, those guys all have weird outfits. The guy who gets the fork in his face, he's got silly hair, I believe.
Yeah. There's a guy with a pompadour.
Sure.
Gets the fork.
I think that's the guy. I thought that was the guy that got knocked over. It doesn't matter.
I know that the fork guy has funky hair. No, it's not even a man who gets the fork, is it? It's a woman.
No, I think the woman was made to eat a cat.
Sure. No, so I'm thinking of the funky hair guy, but I think that is the guy who gets knocked over. I don't think he gets the fork. Anyway, doesn't matter. But classic Araki, my nether regions pointed the other way, you bitch cat.
You bitch cat.
All right.
Whatever the hell that means.
Yeah, I was gonna. A Charming Man had a 0-10 chance of guessing that.
Yeah, that was a. You shouldn't have even attempted that roll.
No, that was a critical failure. 10 times out of 10.
That was an impossible red check in Disco Elysium.
Exactly. Yeah. Disco Elysium. Oh, I love that game.
I don't want to play the rest of that. Chris and I were playing through it on stream, and I like.
Oh my god!
We were doing
so
that,
good.
And then like I actually bought it myself because I was like, we may not ever get back to that, and I was really interested in the game, and I wanted to play the rest of it myself. And I played like the first hour, and I was like, man, I don't want to go back through and do
really
all the shit that Chris and I already did together.
I feel really bad because like we've never had a good opportunity to get back to that.
Yeah. And the thing is that, like, I'm not doing a lot of video gaming these days. Like, the life that I lead and its structure is entirely different now than it was 2 years ago. Like, if I wasn't working then, I was at my computer. So I had, like, infinite time to fucking do whatever I wanted, basically. Now, if I'm not working, I'm at Robin's, or I'm working at my second job. I'm bartending. Like, I'm, like, spoken for. Like, all my time is taken up. Like, I had to block out this time to be here at home to do the podcast with y'all. Because unaided by my, like, scheduling it, then I would never have time for this anymore. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Fucking... The world that I live in is very different now than it was a couple years ago. I used to just be, like, inside. Now I'm outside all the time.
The pause after you said the world made me think
world?
you were done.
Yeah, I thought time was about to stop.
The world? Whoa! Tokyo, tomare!
It's the closest thing I've got to the world reverb at hand. I'll have
Also
to add that to the
that,
soundboard later.
That Obama cadence, you said it with fucking the world?
The
world?
That was actually me and Alex. I just went to Alex's wedding, by the way. This is fucking something that happened beginning of December. It's my best friend from high school. Oh, I went in heels and a dress, which was awesome because I didn't really want to wear a fucking suit, and I'm Zoe, and like, why should I have to pretend to be Zach still for this fucking wedding? And I went, and it was great. And Alex's dad was there, and I kind of wasn't thinking about that. I was like, wait a minute, this guy knows me from, like, high school. Shit. And I was kind of like, I wonder what his response is going to be. But he finally bumped into me, and he was like, hey, what are you doing? Not like, why are you doing this? But sort of like, what's the deal here? This seems fun. And so...
Did you do something different?
I was wearing a dress. And so he was like, what are you doing? And my response was, oh, whatever I want.
Yeah.
That's the answer. I don't
That's
have to
That's what I'm doing.
Explain further than that. I'm just doing whatever I want.
That's the beginning and ending of that statement.
I didn't want to wear a suit. Period. I just didn't feel like it. And so, like, what did I want to wear? Well, this. I had a cool big coat. I was, like, blue, and then I had a little scarf draped around me. It was in Baltimore, so it was a very cold weather wedding. Anyway. I forgot why I said that. Time has stopped. Oh yeah, me and Alex, we would always quote the Obama video where it's like a YouTube poop, like, sentence mixing, like they've just cut different words together. And he says, the world time is stopped. And then it fucking does the thing.
The world time has stopped.
The world time is stopped.
Now,
so if Obama has the world...
Clear, disappears.
Let me be clear. Becomes transparent.
So if Obama has the world, what stands do Biden and Trump have?
Should we invent them their own stands, or should we just assign them ones that already exist?
Let's assign them ones that already exist, because Obama has the world, and that already exists.
Obama has the world. Do we give Made in Heaven to Trump or Biden? Because I think either way, they're speeding up the destruction of our universe.
Well, yeah, that's a good way to put it. Oh man. Okay, Biden has King Crimson, but every time he fast forwards, like, skips through time, he
That's
also
fair,
forgets that he did that.
I was gonna say, that's brilliant. He has King Crimson, but he doesn't have Epitaph, so he's, like, not able to view anything.
He's not immune to the effects of King Crimson.
Right.
That's fair. That's fair, because sometimes it feels like the 4 years of Biden never actually happened.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
that is also true.
Yeah, how do you guys feel about President-elect Donald Trump? Or president now?
Here, I'll
Is
show you.
in yet? No, that's on.
I'll
Monday.
tell you how I feel.
I thought it was on the 6th.
No, I think it's the 20th.
Nice.
That's how I feel. That's how I feel about it.
Yeah.
I feel like
Mission failed. We'll get them next time.
This is like the first time. Oh boy. This is like the first time we didn't bet on the election outcome, Chris.
Me when Trump won.
What a shame.
What a shame.
what a shame.
Was that from Deus Ex?
Yes.
Do you have even one single fact to back that up? Okay, JC. Anyway.
JC Ace.
JC Aces? Oh my god. JC, a bomb.
Jesus Christ Aces?
Yeah, let's go.
That's the name of the guy from Deus Ex. He's JC Denton.
Yeah.
I know.
Okay.
But we
all right.
but we had the Casey.
We did the Jesus bit where I came back from the dead.
Right.
We're starting our new religion.
Caseyism.
Casey is our Messiah.
I'm Jesus.
This is the first time we haven't bet on the election outcome, though, Chris. Didn't we bet the last couple times?
I thought we only bet once.
No, we did another one, didn't we? It was something else.
No.
No.
We didn't put anything on Trump Biden.
I think it was only 2016. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I could have sworn. Okay, I remember at least we were like playing around with the idea of betting again. No? All right. Well, for the podcast viewers, Chris and I in 2016 made a bet. He was pretty sure, not in a way where I don't think Chris like wanted this, but he was pretty sure that Donald Trump was going to win, and he was right. But I had bet him that that would not happen, and the penalty was that I had to make 2 Space Jam mashups. Now, Chris knows me well.
Oh my god.
Knows that I hate Space Jam, and that I had never made a Space Jam
What?
mashup, and that I considered them... Well, this is me. I'm like 17 in this story. Or no, I'm 17 in this story, because it's 2016. I was born in 98.
And you hated the movie Space Jam?
No, I hated the song, like in a mashup community way. Like, I thought it was overdone, and I had sworn never to touch it.
I was gonna say, Space Jam's awesome. That movie kicks ass.
No, it was just like in a mashup capacity. Like, everyone had already made 50,000 Space Jam mashups
Yeah,
each.
that
and
I can.
I
that
felt
I
like
can.
there was
agree
no
on.
way to make it good anymore. Like, if it could be a good mashup with anything, it's already been done. So I was like, I'm never doing that. That shit's lazy. And so, like, I was the JoJo mashups guy.
Yeah.
And there was another JoJo mashups guy named Sorty, who mixed every JoJo OP with Space Jam. And I was like, dude, you can have that. You can have that. That's your niche. I don't fucking... So that was me. Like, I was very opinionated teenager in the mashup community. And so Chris made me this bet, and I lost, which meant that I had to break my rule and make the 2 Space Jam mashups. But being a crafty, little devious, evil teenager who doesn't want to break their own made-up rule for basically no reason... I secretly got my friend Nico Plus, formerly known as Nico Plus, to make them for me. And I sent them to Chris, and I believe it took me, like, a long time to fess up to him that I hadn't actually made them myself.
Huh.
But yeah, Nico owed me a favor. So I was like, you have to make 2 Space Jam mashups. You have to make this one and this one. And he was like, okay, whatever.
Do you remember what was supposed to be the penalty if I lost?
No.
Because I have no idea. That was so long ago.
Yeah, no, I have no clue. Can I search it up? Can I figure it out real quick? This shouldn't.
Yeah, sure.
This shouldn't take long because I'm just gonna go into West and search up Space Jam. Space Jam.
I'm gonna come.
Space Jam. I have never made and I will never make a Space Jam mashup. That's me, 2016. So it was at the end of the year, right? So I was 18 then. Yep, this is pre-election. Yep, we're getting there, folks. We are getting there. We're gonna find out what the hell Merc was supposed to do if Hillary Rodham Clinton won.
Hillary, why don't you Pokemon go to the polls?
Let's see. Aha!
Doing your mom, doing your mom.
Oh, Chris, you would have had to also make 2 Space Jam mashups using sources I provide.
That doesn't seem like a fair bet, because I have way lower standards than you.
Phony.
What'd you say, Chris?
I said that doesn't seem like a fair bet for you, because I have way lower standards than you.
What?
That was perfectly timed, Casey. Thanks.
That was good.
You're welcome.
And then so, you said it actually sucks because you can't choose your own sources. Like, you could screw me by choosing songs with like 3-4 time signatures. I was like, yeah, good point. But no, I mean we should have found something that you didn't want as much as I didn't want to make 2 Space Jam mashups. But we did.
I have no idea what that would have even been. God, I don't remember what I was like in 2016.
I remember I was the kind of person who, instead of just fulfilling their end of the bet they lost, would go get somebody else to secretly, just so that they could never lose their streak, and that inside they would know that they had never made a Space Jam mashup. Somehow that was more important to me.
Probably really a douche to you about that at the time.
I don't know. I seem to recall being a pretty big douchebag myself. I almost killed everyone a couple times. Do you remember that? I used to be the problem in the server of homies that I started. This is for the audience's benefit. I was just just an unhappy person. I used to start fights with everybody and get in a real bad mood and threaten to delete the server and shit. I almost killed everyone a bunch of times.
Oh no.
It's funny looking back on that now. I've mellowed out. God, that was a real dramatic kid.
I think we all improved over time.
Yeah. I mean, at the time it seemed like real big important stuff, but that was a bunch of 17 and 18-year-old kids fucking around. That was such small stakes actually on that.
I remember making a bet with John SP 2000, another member of the server, about whether the Blade movie, the MCU Blade movie, would be rated R or PG-13, only for the Blade movie to be canceled.
To never come out.
It really is never coming out now?
I'm pretty sure they took it off the schedule, I think.
Man.
Well, it's in an indefinite hiatus.
Man, when Wesley Snipes said there's only going to be one Blade, he wasn't kidding.
Yeah.
He meant it.
And I mean, did they mean that? I don't know how they meant that, you know?
It's a double
I'm pretty sure when they filmed it, Deadpool doing the camera take was meant to go. He doesn't know that there's a Blade movie with Mahershala Ali on the horizon, but now it actually works the other way.
Mm-hmm.
So strange. That's what I was thinking. What way did they mean for it to work? Because now it works the other one.
They wanted it to be one way, but it's the other way.
One way, one way, one way. Dude, fucking... I need to make some mashups again.
Enough reminiscence. Let's
right.
Let's get back to the chapter.
Ba da 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 da. Ba ba da 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 da. Yeah, we need to get the. You need to get the motherfucking Back to the Future sound on here.
I do. I need to get that soon. I do have this though.
Peter, I can't believe it took us 45 minutes to get back to the chapter.
Oh, jeez, this is worse than the time that I got back to the chapter.
Honestly, I fucking hate this soundboard bit so much.
What? Why? It's good.
It is good, but the part of generating the humor is that I hate it. You know what I mean? Like, it's torturous. You know, when you're doing a bit and it's like pissing your friend off, but he's also laughing?
Huh?
Okay, alright. This feels very much like when you give a kid like a toy and then it's like, oh shit, we shouldn't have given that to him. Like you give like a 6-year-old a water gun. Or a cart of giant metal pipes.
I regret many things.
Yeah, you brought the fucking soundboard into this universe in the first place.
You guys just got done saying you've only gotten better with age. I think I've only gotten worse.
So it evens out, basically.
Oh my god. I hate this fucking soundboard bit, but I love it. Holy shit. Alright, so...
Oh, my mouth is starting to hurt from laughing.
Alright, so the story is happening, and he's like, oh, those are my kids over there. I'm gonna go show them around. Smooth move, charming man. So he's leading everybody around, and then he does a hilarious, like, salute. Aye, aye, sir.
Aye, aye, sir.
So he changed the security passcode, and they're gonna swap it so that Howler's depositing the shit directly into their bank account. Based. They're back at Merrill Maze. They're talking, and Lulu's here. Usagi's screaming at Lulu and doing
I love this bit too.
A pantomime of crushing her skull against the floor.
Fucking kill you. One heel kick and dosha! Your brains will be mushy paste on the ground.
And then Jodio is like, hey, you really don't want to fuck with this lady. She said sit down. You should really go sit.
You gotta sit down.
And it's really funny the way that this scene plays out. And Meryl May is really dealing with her like the child she is. Like, this is when a 6-year-old is misbehaving. Like, this is how you deal with them. Lulu Chan's 11. Fraud and tax evasion have a sentence of 5 to 10 years. Da-da-da. $3,000 a day in expenses. The boutique is closed. Yeah, so this is very Breaking Bad as well. First of all, we killed one of our enemies and captured the other, and now it's like causing us trouble just having to store them somewhere. And then secondarily,
Yeah. I'm thinking of
we have to keep the car wash closed so we have somewhere to store the methylamine, you know?
Well, I was thinking of the money scene where they're after they got rid of Gus, and you know they're doling out the money, and then Mike takes this huge chunk out of all of their piles for legacy costs, and Walt's like, hold on, wait a minute.
This is very much like those scenes in Breaking Bad which felt like they would have been at home in a GTA game. Those scenes, I'm very much getting a vibe like that from this. This sort of like, the gang is all in Saul's office, you know? I think Araki was going for that type of feel, and I think he's nailing it.
Mm-hmm.
She is sort of like Saul Goodman.
But I mean the
fixer.
The way she breaks it down, like letting you stay at this place, $3,000 a day. Let Yokohama $2,000 a day.
Ah, I see what you're talking about. I see the comparison in its true beauty now. Yeah, we're like subtracting from our overall profits bit by bit. But the thing is, like, aren't we millionaires right now? So $2,000 a day, fuck it.
Yeah, on our way to becoming billionaires, no less.
But that was the point of the scene, Zoe.
Mm.
Is that losing any amount of money is considered an insult.
Unacceptable to these people. I get you. And the thing is, I'm really, really hoping that like Chris was saying, like I want us to get to that point where like the internal conflict within the group and the conflicts within each of our characters is the thing that we are caring about the most.
Yeah,
I really want us to get there.
At what point does Jodio just stab Lulu to save a few bucks?
Right.
Yeah.
How far will we go? And how far will we go before someone speaks up and says, hey, we should turn around? You know? Because I want to know, like, if this story is about greed and about money and about success and about traveling upwards from your starting point in life. Just like Jobin said, just like Dio did, you know, the story's always been about this. It's about striving upward and moving onward. And the way that a hero does that in a different way than a villain will step on your head in their striving upward. A hero will fucking reach back and grab you and pull you up too. And so the whole thing of like this building and this gaining, this capitalism that the story revolves around, are we ever gonna get to a point where someone says, hey, I think maybe enough's enough? Because that would be really, really interesting. Like, sure, there's enemies, there's villains, there's a corporation, but the real villain is greed, I feel.
Is money.
Right. And when are we gonna get to that point? And why? And who's it gonna be who speaks up? I'm really, really, really interested in all that stuff. And I really hope it's not going to end up like a fucking Jobin rematch. Something awesome that I'm waiting for that the story should totally get into that's really meaty and juicy, but that they just never do. Really hope it's not going to be like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's going through the information. Everything costs. Lulu, you'll get out eventually. Answer me about Howler. Do they know anything about us? She says, Bobby Jean's gone. His smartphone's there. I'm the only one who knows. Do they know about
now,
the lava
I will
rock?
say about this shot, I know we were just talking about how good Araki's art is. This panel where Meryl May is talking to Lulu about Howler is really funny to me because it looks like there's an issue of perspective going on.
Lulu looks like she could fit in her pocket.
Yeah, with just how fucking gigantic
Have you seen Kill la
Meryl
Kill?
May is. Yes, this is Gamagori.
Yeah,
yeah,
right. Meryl May has a Gamagori thing going on, but
she
the
is
thing
just
is,
as
at the
large
same
as
time,
she needs to
Lulu
be.
has a reverse Gamagori, where she's just as small as the scene dictates she should be.
It's really interesting. Like, it looks like there are
also,
foreground, background elements.
Well, also we saw like the ceiling of this room. Like it's not like an actual like rectangular prism. There's like a slant to the ceiling, which makes me think there's like it's supposed to confuse you. Is that woman big or just really close?
Exactly. Is she just really close to the camera right now?
Is she big or just really close?
Just really close.
That always makes me laugh in like shows and stories and shit when a character is like, is that thing enormous? And it's like, no, it's just perspective. And then the perspective changes and they're like, oh no, it's enormous. That's no moon.
That's no moon.
But yeah, she's asking about the lava rock. Like, did they know about the lava rock? Is that why? And she's like, no, originally we just started to get the people who were looking at the deeds. But then all of a sudden he changed the mission midway through and asked us to find the lava rock. So he just intuited that y'all had it, and as it turned out, you really did. Okay.
True.
Bag was transported by the lava rock's rule. The lava rock is our ally. We can be completely certain that the 50 billy worth of Hawaii land is on its way here. Even if we just take a nap, all that value will eventually make its way into our hands. But on the other hand, somehow Howler knows about the existence of the lava rock, and he's aware that his fortune will soon disappear. He's frantically trying to find out who we are, as well as where Lulu-chan disappeared to. Here's how the real world works. Whenever you corner a rich person, they will quite easily use violence as currency. You could say that's their specialty.
This feels like a line that we need to remember and come back to.
Oh, for sure.
After whoever it is has had their heel turn.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like, watch out for rich people. They'll stab you. Wait, we're rich.
Wait, we're about to be rich people.
Are we the baddies?
Are we the baddies?
I was originally, at first, I was like, what exactly does this mean? This violence as currency thing. But I completely get it. A rich person, someone who's that rich, is not used to hearing no and having to accept that no as true and give up on that desire and move on. When they get a no, they will simply go somewhere else that will give them a yes. It doesn't matter. Like, they have enough money that they can basically just get whatever they want somewhere, somehow, from somebody.
Yeah, they can turn a no into a yes. You
Right.
just have to know where to look.
And then the thing is, when you're cornering a rich person and they've put them in a situation that they can't buy their way out of, that same I don't take no for an answer can quite easily become I'm gonna do whatever it takes to get out of this. You know what I mean? Like, they're not people who have any bone in their body where they'll go like, oh, you know what? I guess I am wrong. Here you go. You know? It's like, no, I'm right. I'm here, and by my existence justifies itself. Like, I'm rich because I'm supposed to be. Like, I deserve this. I am supposed to get what I want.
It's the kind of thinking that leads one to have 11 men killed in prison over a period of an hour.
Right, exactly. It's by hook or by crook. I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get what I want. I'm gonna get my way, come hell or high water. And whether that's through exorbitant money, whether that's through violence and intimidation, whether that's by hiring killers, whether that's by lying and cheating and stealing, these people, and it's not prescriptive, it's not descriptive, it's prescriptive. It's not that rich people are just like this, it's that you kind of have to be this way in order to become rich.
Yeah, it's a cutthroat life.
Right. So my point is, I understand the line completely, and I really, really like it. If they can't buy it with money, they'll buy it with blood. Because they're gonna fucking buy it and own it one way or the other. You can't stop
it. Capitalism is a competitive game, not a cooperative one.
Exactly. And that's where I feel like this moment is where this chapter and this story arc kind of goes from good to great. Where Araki is just really laying down his hand of what the JoJoLands is going to be.
Right, and it's always, like, this is perfect as a villain setup, because Araki has always been, like, he shows his villains in a way where it's like, okay, even the smallest villains, like that guy who's gonna cut that woman with the knife at the beginning of part 4, and Josuke punches through him and puts the knife inside of him and shit. That guy is demonstrating this same, like, violence as currency. Like, he always wants to show us something about the person that makes us understand, oh, this person's truly evil. Like, when the chips were down and it was all said and done, like, it's all about to be over, they chose the cowardly move instead of the brave move. You know, like, he always wants to show us, like, a very clear, like, this is what a villain does. Like, if they were a hero, they wouldn't have made that call. And then, like, you know, part 8, Josefumi dying, melting on the fucking deck of the boat, and he's literally about to give up. He's about to sell out his buddy, and then fucking Jotaro Kira is like, no, no fucking way. And that gives him the confidence to make the hero move instead, and to hold his cards close to the chest for just a few seconds longer. So anyways, that's sort of like that classic Araki villain thing where they will, when backed into a corner, compromise themselves and, like, throw it all away. Like, whatever thing that they had that made them believe that they were a good person, they'll throw that in the trash just to get out of this situation. Just to kill you and get back to their status quo. Right. So it's almost like this is it's perfect that that's the kind of villain we're dealing with, because that's the kind of villain we always deal with Araki. They love using violence as currency.
Yeah, now he's just officially given a designation to that kind of villain.
Right. He's
spelled it out more exactly. More directly than ever before.
Before, he's been relying on us to be able to, like, see it. He's been showing, but this is a very cool way of putting it. Like, it's very concise. And it's kind of a bar. Violence as currency.
Violence as currency.
Bars.
Even
if at first glance they're just trying to get their money back or doing a peaceful deed, greed never ends with something pleasant like that. They'll settle it with violence. And that speaks to, like, the world of the smiling face that we put on these capitalists. Like, oh, look, they're donating to fucking, yeah, well, you know, that money probably should have all gone to that anyway.
It's a tax write-off.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. It's self-serving. It's not good. It's not for the good of people. It's just to get more of what they want. The most important thing is not to be followed by anyone. The longer this drags on, the far more dangerous it gets. We need to make the time this goes on for to be 7 days. I don't like how that's translated at all, basically. It's really clunky, but who cares?
Yeah. To be fair, it's not official, but we'll get there.
It's just as Jodio says, what we do now is collect the money from them, strip a rich person of everything they've got, and you render their body and mind powerless. Right, because if he can't fucking buy hitmen anymore...
He's got nothing.
Who is he? What is he? He's fucking
He's got
useless.
nothing on us.
No, because like he's not a person who ever had to develop himself. He was born rich. So all of his like superpower, I mean, I guess he has a stand, right? But all of his superpower is his richness. So like once you take that away from him, he's not a person who's like trained in anything or good at anything or like has any like real pertinent life experience. This is somebody who's a sheltered fucking rich fuck who's only ever eaten caviar and slept with women on private planes, you know? So like
And
if this
fed
guy
them, like,
doesn't
olive
have
oil.
money anymore, he's got nothing. He's fucked. Like we can totally defeat him.
Mm-hmm.
And the 7-day deadline, I feel like that's Araki giving us a little nudge and saying, hey, remember part 5? Remember how that was a week?
Yeah.
Right. The Hualalai North Slope. Our time to collect it is 7 days. I'll keep you posted on the plan. Usagi goes, phew.
Whew. Sheesh.
Sheesh. Fucking zoomer. And then Lulu is just sitting there like...
Usagi would. He so would.
Lulu's just sitting there like, who are these people? These guys are fucking
Yeah, she's
crazy.
Way in over her head.
These guys are scary. Yeah,
And
so
then we cut to the man himself.
Howler's in the
back
limo,
at it again,
all swagged
with
out.
the olive oil.
And then he's like, he doesn't even look out the window to see why the car stopped and realize that it's traffic. Before he even understands the reason why the car stopped, he goes and tries to buy the road.
Also, I love the detail of his like shiny stone-studded fucking roof of his limo.
Yeah,
Like
that's
like
crazy.
he is like we really Merume Key has this guy down pat, like just living a life of excess.
Oh yeah.
Look at how rich he would be nothing without this money. His lavish lifestyle.
Well, and it's almost sad because due to being born into it, he almost never got a chance to ever like become who he would have become without the money. You know, it's almost a little bit sad. Like whatever his human soul was going to become, its development was halted.
And I think that's so interesting about like what's so interesting about Howler as opposed to most other JoJo villains is we've never really seen a villain who is like pushed to react to the protagonists like this.
Right.
Yeah. The villain is almost always putting the hero's foot, and in this case, he's fighting it. He's skating uphill, just trying to get back at even.
He's skating uphill, just trying to stay in the same place.
Some motherfuckers always.
We are, in fact, in a literary academic sense, the antagonists, because we are the ones who spark change.
Mm-hmm.
Howler is in a stable universe, disrupted by outsiders. And that's normally how our heroes are. Jotaro and his mom, and then his mom gets sick, you know?
Yeah, that's
basically
why
the
I think
only
Howler...
other time this has happened is Kira. And you could say that
Exactly.
Kira is the antagonist and he's sparking change because he's killing people, right? But
killing people.
It's Kira's actions. It's Kira's actions that draw attention to him.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the. It's it's the other way around here because it's the protagonists.
Yeah,
that we
Howler
follow.
technically wasn't doing anything other than buying the land
Right.
that they came in contact with.
I wonder if Rohan's gonna come back.
I hope so. I think it'd be really funny if he did.
I think it would be cool, but also I think we've probably seen the last of him in this part. I think he probably just showed up.
I'm not sure how they'd bring him back. I think he was Excuse me. I think he was supposed to be like the Koichi cameo.
Maybe.
Yeah, I think probably it's like a Koichi Part 5 thing. I don't know. But everyone's like, I hate Howler so much. The guy says, fuck you! Torture him until he's dead!
I love Howler.
Fuck you! It's January!
It's so, like... That's why I'm so
never
endeared
dressed
to this
up.
part already. I love when JoJo villains are introduced early,
Mm-hmm.
and not only do we get time to see them be villains, we just get time to see them be characters,
Right.
which is something we see a little less often, and I'm glad we're seeing it more here with Howler.
Right.
Because most of the time, I mean, you'll have moments of Kira just living his personal life or whatever, but for the most part, it's him like planning his next move of like, oh, I have to keep doing this, this, and this, or Dio being like, oh yeah, this is how I'm gonna fuck over the Joestars, whatever. But now we just have Howler like having to deal with the consequences of not even his own actions, but like public perception of his actions.
Right. He's like just completely reactive character. He's not even.
Yeah.
He doesn't have a grand evil plan. He just wants to be left
No,
alone.
exactly. That's what he's so. What makes him so different and interesting to me.
Just let me get back to what I was already doing. Let me alone.
Yeah. Just let me go back to being a
And then it's
evil
fucking
playboy.
crazy. It's awesome. Later in this chapter, we'll get there. We'll get there.
Yeah.
Okay, so this shit with the North Slope was lent to them by the royal family 50 years ago. The Howler used it in the munitions industry during the generation of the great grandfather of Mr. Aka Howler.
And also, can I just say, again, back to the artistry, these shots, these panels are insane.
They're really cool.
With these crowd shots and Araki, like, drawing every individual person. It's not like just a blob.
I feel like there might have been a little bit of tracing going on.
Yeah, because look at those
the
faces.
crowd.
Those aren't Iraqi faces at all. Those are like...
Yeah.
Like, I think that those people back there are traced over, but then once you get to, like, the people who are directly interacting with the car, those are original drawings fully.
Mm-hmm.
Just look at the way
But
that they're
still-
posed, right?
But still, it is impressive. These are great shots. That's what I feel like it's decidedly not JoJo in a way, but in a way that I enjoy.
Well, it's cool. Like, we're out of our home environment.
Exactly. It's different. It's a different premise. Because that's the other thing about JoJo. Every other part, minus Steel Ball Run, pretty much, has been a relatively self-contained thing that is just happening to the protagonist. It's like, okay, it's not a wider event that the world at large or like the society at large is being affected by.
Made in
The
heaven.
Steel Ball
Made
Run
in heaven.
race. Made in Heaven. Well, technically, but I mean, like, nobody in the world knew that Made in Heaven. It just happened.
Yeah. And I mean, like, the
This
JoJo
is like
villains,
there's
they have
there's
threatened
press
to get to that
coverage.
point. Like, Dio's
Yeah.
like, as soon as I'm done with you, then I'll rule the world. But, like, we don't
Mhm.
ever get to the point where, like,
no.
oh no, Dio's become Demon King Piccolo and declared every May 5th is Dio Day, you know?
Exactly. This is like there's press coverage, is what I mean.
Right.
People will be able to follow the pulse of whatever Howler is doing.
Do you
We've
think...
never had a villain in the spotlight before that the world is aware of,
Uh-huh.
other
Right.
than Valentine and Howler now.
It's actually crazy because, like, the Speedwagon Foundation, in its original continuity, in its original incarnation, let me say, was, like, kind of there to make sure that the public would never learn about any of this. And it's kind of like
Exactly.
Dragon Ball Z. Like, no one will ever know that Goku saved the world. You know?
It was a buffer, it was a barrier, and now we don't have that. This is just spilled over into
Well,
an actual society.
I think that's what the purpose of Howler's goons are, basically, is to keep the stand shit out of the public eye.
Right.
As much as possible.
There's a ton of people on staff for Howler, I'm sure, that aren't stand users. But the ones who are, this is their gig. This is why we have them. you know?
These are Diavolo's
Because if we're the most powerful fucking corporation and, like, no one can touch us through normal human means, the only way we're gonna lose is if somebody gets us supernaturally. So we need some supernatural players on our side of the fence, so that
Mm-hmm.
we're not susceptible to getting fucked up like that. But yeah, he actually gets out of the car to yell at the reporters, and then he gets swarmed. But it's crazy because you totally shouldn't have done that. Like, you know, I thought that people were going to start throwing their poop at him. Like,
that was a bad call, Howler.
You're
not making
echo
yourself
fart.
look better.
Give me an echo fart real quick.
Like you were saying earlier, this is the decision of a man who does not know how to interact with a world that says no to him.
Right.
Yeah, so he is throwing a temper tantrum. He's like, "Oh, get out of my face! Get the fuck off! I didn't make that shit. I didn't kill your son, you stupid old lady."
Can you give me an echo fart?
Oh yeah, here. Let me drop it in here. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you.
Awesome.
Sacks of shit.
You sacks of shit.
Oh,
I love the wet diarrhea sound.
That's my least favorite one that you have.
No, it's like the best one ever, though.
It's disgusting. What the hell even is that one?
Don't play that one after those ones.
This one's just called Rizz.
Wow. Well, when you play that right after the liquidy diarrhea, it makes me think I'm watching scat porn. Anyway. Don't combine those two. I don't like that crafting recipe. When you mix this sound with that sound, you get this. I don't like it.
You get this.
Okay,
I don't
so
like it.
This fucking fucked me up. What the hell is this shit? Why is all this commotion going on? I'm the 8th generation since my ancestors drifted here from Italy.
My proud heritage. How could they do this to me?
Zappelli. Look at his hair. Look at his fucking beard. Zappelli.
Oh, he is 100%. 100%.
Exactly like Gyro's dad.
He looks
if
like
he was young
Gyro's.
and had rizz.
Yeah. I swear to God, I remember Gyro's hair looking like this in one of his
flashbacks. That would probably be the boldest strategy to go with, is a villain Zappelli.
Yeah.
I would really like it.
I would kind of love that. Like, this is one of... I mean, it would make sense given the Zeppeli heritage found that we learned of in this part.
Right.
But I mean,
like royal executioners, like they lived a high society life.
Right, and then just like
And
Johnny
he had,
Joestar and Rina Higashikata, they like retire to Hawaii. The Italian man takes a wife. It's like, oh no, wait, it's not retiring to Hawaii. We got Howler backstory. No. His great granddad like washed up on shore and like married an Italian woman. He was shipwrecked. So like that guy, it says my ancestors drifted here from Italy. That guy, for sure, was a Zappelli. I mean, like, just because he's shipwrecked doesn't mean that he wasn't, you know. How do you even get a fucking ship to take you to Hawaii unless you're royalty in the first place?
Exactly.
From Italy.
It was his yacht wrecked in Hawaii or whatever.
Shit's crazy.
Also, again, I just can't get over how good this art is. All these close-ups of Howler's face.
His face looks
where he has like the...
Yeah,
where he's like going back the family tree and he's like, huh.
My shiny teeth and me. He's got light coming
the shine
coming
out of his mouth, speaking the good truth.
The word
and we
of
learn
God.
that he is 8th generation and they're all named after letters of the alphabet.
Yeah, so A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. So he's Haka, but he's Aka. Aka Howler. Aka Howler.
Aka Howler.
Haka, but Aka.
I think it's Acha.
I would say Acha, yeah.
Hacha.
Like H.
Wait, so his name is Hacha.
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 Hacha Howler? That's fucked up.
Hacha Howler. That's
Hacha
it.
Howler. I'm going to call him Howler.
Yeah, Howler's good.
The North Slope is our land. We got permission from the royal family. It's been like that for generations. These riffraff need our slope's water veins, and this is how they act. Now they're shouting at me to leave Hawaii, the place I was born. Now, see, this is interesting.
My ancestral home.
This is kind of like a Johnny Joestar thing. It's like we're undoing generational curses here.
Yeah.
Like, it's evil that exists from before our time, or it's a sin committed in the distant past, or the thing they said about the the tension between light and dark in part 8, where he was like, the tension created when the Emishi people were subjugated. You know, like the tension between light and dark will always exist.
The way his eyes are drawn do give me serious Dio vibes.
Oh yeah, he's got the Dio lashes for sure, and the brows.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Did you guys see that Dio's officially non-binary?
I did see that. I love that. I'm glad.
King.
Androgynous Dio
monarch.
confirmed.
I mean ruler.
Monarch.
Emperor.
Yeah. Emperor Dio.
Anyway, so then there's the people behind him, and he turns around and he's like
Yes!
dealing with them. This shit
The
is
freaks!
so cool. I love this
them.
so much. I wanted to get into this earlier, where we were talking about him being a villain who doesn't even really want any of this. Like, he's purely reactive. He just wants things to go back to normal. This is another way in which he is set apart from any JoJo villain that we've ever had ever before in the series, because every other JoJo villain turns to, like, their crew of evildoers that they're going to send after the protagonist, and they go, yes, ha 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 ha, they will never be able to defeat you. Go, kill them. Howler turns and goes, who are y'all?
Who the fuck?
Did I hire you?
These losers?
Do you guys actually work for me?
It's amazing. It's like fucking like Dio turning around and being like, you, my trusted stand users whom I've personally picked, versus Howler, who's like, huh?
How did you get in here?
He's like not even
Not even pretending. Yeah.
This is the fucking. It's amazing. It's hilarious to see a villain not care about their own stand group.
I was gonna say we have never
bad.
seen a villain like actively bumble his way through a part before. They always have at least some level of composure and of like,
right?
Okay, even Poochie when he was still like having his anxiety of the whole situation, he would calm himself down. He would rationalize the situation. He'd be like, no, this is all part of the plan. I can do this. Howler's just like, what? Yeah, you guys work for me? What? Okay, sure. Let's fucking go with that, I guess.
Literally,
I don't
just
know.
Bumble fucking around, blindly weaving forward through the chaos.
Howler, like, already has the makings of one of my favorite JoJo villains ever, because he's just so different. He's just so not a JoJo villain that it's going to be very fun to see him maybe become one by the end.
Right, and that's the thing. In this next page here, well, I mean, I'm Key West, a lawyer, Lem Chabang is police officer, and Ningbo, firefighter.
And so these guys aren't actually...
Ningbo is the only one who is dressed for his actual career.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit.
Lawyer, you're dressed like a cop in a maxi skirt.
And what's interesting about them is that we've moved on from fashion references and from musical references to these people are named after cities. Key West is an island in Florida. Lam Shabang, I believe, is a country or a city in Thailand, and Ningbo is a city in China.
Oh, interesting.
I knew Key West, but I didn't get the other ones.
Yeah, so he is assembling like the world, literally.
Crazy. But yeah, they're talking about the incident at the hospital, and we don't know what the cause of death was. Top of the head, down to the throat, and then Lem Chabang goes vroom, like through here and out here, shoom, like that. It's very funny. In other words, this was a stand user. And then he gets close, and he's like, "Look, I'm actually not going to tell you shit. You don't get the information you're asking for. Just do what I say," which is funny. Because that's what a real villain would do, but he's not doing it because he's like good at this. He's not doing it for OPSEC. He's just like, I don't respect them. They don't need to be let in on this information.
I still don't know who you people are, so you're just going to do my basic grunt work.
Right, and he's like, your only job is to protect Howler's interests. Like, that's a mistake.
My
like,
elites,
you should be.
He's like, my elites were an 11-year-old girl and an old man.
Right.
I don't know you people. I don't know y'all like that.
And then we get the crazy fucking like nematodes in the glasses
Oh,
making
God.
a map of the room showing the person who's afraid.
This ability makes me so uncomfortable visually.
Dude, imagine thousands of nematodes crawling around on your fucking glasses right next to your eyes.
This is
I
gonna be
hate it.
gross in live action.
Yeah,
Or,
I
not
love-
in
I
animation.
love Howler's 1,000-yard stare looking at this happen.
Somehow this doesn't like freak me out at all, but I know for sure it will once it's moving. Like in animation, this is gonna be horrible.
Oh, and there's like the gross, like squishy sound effects of them,
Right,
like
yeah. Ew! Shut up! I don't have to hear that until 2034 if everything goes.
look at the sound effects. It says
the
squirm,
current
squirm,
pace.
squirm. It's going.
Alright, okay. That's
gross.
I don't want to hear that. We were talking about how we're not excited for it. You just fast forwarded the sound design of the anime 9 years
sound like
into the
this.
present.
That's what it'll.
We already know Araki listens to this podcast. He's writing these notes down right now.
Yeah, he's taking these into effect.
Literally, I told him to watch Breaking Bad and he did. This is all my fault, this part, you guys.
Ugh.
I really hope that the fact that Key West is a lawyer, I hope we get some Better Call Saul stuff from that.
I know.
I really hope.
We already willed that into
Howler-
existence too. Remember, we said we wanted a lawyer stand fight.
Oh yeah,
We wanted a stand user who has the powers of a lawyer.
It's happening.
It's happening.
Stand
We are
users are a
willing
dime
this
a
into
dozen, but not
existence.
many of them went to law school.
Yeah,
University
Almost
of
none of
American
them.
Samoa. Go land
almost
crabs.
none of them. Go land crabs.
But yeah, her stand is insane. It's ridiculous.
It's gross.
I really hope we get some lawyer stuff with Key West, though. I'm actually gonna jump out of my seat and pog and scream and run around and pop off if she does the put $1 in my pocket trick.
Yeah.
If at a certain point Howler needs to tell her things that are confidential, but he's like, you can't be telling other people this, and she says, put $1 in my pocket.
But that doesn't make sense. She's already on retainer.
Well, she's a lawyer. She's not his
not
lawyer.
She's not Howler's.
Well, we don't know.
She-
We don't know.
Well, yeah.
We know that she's a stand user and a killer.
Well,
I
the
do.
implication is that he's already hired these people.
Well, that's the
But
other
has
thing that
he
I
hired
think.
her as a lawyer? Or has he
That's
hired
the
her as
thing
a
that
killer?
I find interesting as well, and I'm fine if this goes either way. This isn't like I'm putting expectations on this JoJolian style. I feel like it could go either way if maybe these people are. Maybe Howler doesn't remember hiring them because he didn't, and they're operating under a different capacity. I don't necessarily need them to, but it would be interesting.
Interesting? That's a
if
big
they have-
swing.
If they have ulterior motives for pretending to work with Howler.
Right. I just thought of something funny, but kind of unrelated. I was like, Zappelli! But you know what? It could be that this is just what Araki draws Italian people to look like.
It also could be. They just
You
all
remember
have
part
fucked
5?
up facial hair.
There was some fucked up...
Yeah.
Not
There were some
facial
fucked
hair,
up
but there was
Italians
some
in
fucked
there.
up cuts. Some strange
Yeah.
dudes, man.
Didn't what's his name? God, no, what was his name? The guy who worked with Magenta or whatever.
Wake up, people!
Wake
Yeah.
People have like the same.
Was
sort of
also
patterned beard.
from Naples.
Yes, he was.
So maybe just
He had
all
the weird-
Italians have...
Nailed
He
it.
had the weird, like, pineapple cut, the weird
Yeah.
segment.
It was
That's
in
just
squares.
what Italians look like.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is true.
So we're getting this scene with like the ones that are afraid are the ones that lose, and then the fucking Key West leans in and says, "Don't fear or cower. The final boss would do well to be broad-minded and imposing."
Yeah.
And then they shut the door.
That's why I like these guys, because they're not, like, subservient grunts. Like, yes, Lord Dio, whatever you say, Lord Dio.
Right.
She's also putting Howler in his place. That's
Right.
why I feel
Almost
like
like-
there's more to these characters than just, oh, we're tertiary we're side villains.
The henchmen are teaching the main villain how to be the main villain.
This is
Yeah.
giving me huge My Hero Academia vibes. with the way that our hero in that, I don't know if you guys ever liked that or watched that, but our hero in that story is learning to be the best hero, you know? Like he's striving upwards to fit that role. It's big shoes to fill, but he's working towards it. And when we meet him, we think it's like impossible that this little kid could ever be that. Same thing with the villain, the guy with the fucking hands on his face, and when he touches stuff with all five of his fingers, it disintegrates. We meet him as like, okay, sure, this guy's power is scary and dangerous and evil, but there's no way that he could ever be like Darth Vader, like the big bad, like that scary motherfucker who's the main antagonist. But he is destined for that, and he's like striving upwards toward that point. Now, the story eventually ruins this by having All for One simply take control of Shigaraki's body, and his character just gets deleted. So this whole, like, the protagonist and antagonist are both, like, leveling up to fight each other is kind of over. It's got a spare body. So the story kind of ended up ruining that. But
no longer two sides of the same coin. The
whole concept of, like, the hero isn't really ready to be the hero yet. He has to level up first and become it. The villain was doing the same thing. And I thought that was really, really cool. Like, he's experiencing heroism and shit and be like winning the approval of the people and like those feelings in his heart. And then conversely, this other guy is learning how to go from like side dork villain of the week to I could destroy this entire planet if I felt like it. And I thought it was really great. On both sides, there was a building up of our chief character. So I like that Howler sort of has that going on, but it's not that Jodio is also needing to like grow up and step into big shoes. He's kind of like, Jodio's like a force of nature. Like he's a psychopath. He's an opportunist. He's like, hey, the lava rock's telling us to do it, so let's fucking do it.
Yeah, he's like,
I'm going for other people's wants or needs or feelings. He's like, I'm gonna get mine.
I'm gonna get mine, exactly. And Howler's like, I already have mine, though. What am I supposed to do?
Why are you taking mine away? Right.
Why are you taking mine away? I've never had to work for mine.
So it's just interesting. Like, our heroes are already heroes or villains or whatever it is they are. But Howler is the one who has to step up and get into those big shoes.
Exactly. That is 100% what I was going to say, because we've already seen, for the most part, JoJo villains that are already at the top of their game. That already know how they got there, how to stay there. Howler is just there. He was there by default.
He never had to work for it. He never had to fight or struggle. Like Dio was playing chess games in bars to win a couple dollars and then getting his face smashed in mushy peas when he lost. Or when he won.
Exactly.
Like he fucking had a hard life and he really had to struggle and strive to get by. And so once he was granted ultimate power, of course he would use it the way he did. But this motherfucker Howler, he was granted ultimate power from the day he was born. He never had to struggle. He has no wants. He doesn't want anything. He just wants what he already had. Like you said,
the only thing his villainous plan, quote unquote, isn't to get more. It's just to maintain what he has, is to keep the status quo.
And isn't that the true villainy of capitalism?
Sorry, I don't mean to cut this short, but Zoe, don't you have a hard out today?
Yes, I do. I need to be at work at 2 p.m. It's 12:35 right now. So I figured that we had another hour about. Or, I don't know, maybe like 45 minutes, because I've also got to change and go leave.
Yeah, don't let us keep you.
Well, it's 12:30, so I don't really have to walk out of my house and leave for a full hour. And we are on the last page of this second chapter here. The final boss was well be broad-minded and imposing. And then she comes back in and she's like, oh, by the way, we have a record of Bobby Jean's search history. This was the last thing he searched before he died. Paco. Awesome fucking cliffhanger. Yeah, great.
It is so crazy that these goons are just locked in already. They are 2 steps ahead of Howler.
What would Howler do without them? He would never be able to do any of this shit on his own.
That's why I'm saying, like, these guys have got to be more important than just we're the next antagonists of the week. That is what I'm hoping for. That is the only expectation that I have of them.
I don't mind, or at least if they are. They just need to feel like more than that, which they already do.
Yes, exactly.
Like if they are just like characters who are gonna get fought and defeated on the road to the real villain, like all the other JoJo stand users have been, that's fine. But I want them to feel like they're something. I don't want to feel like we're wasting time on them. I want to feel like defeating them is progressing the story.
Exactly. And I do think, though, it would be interesting and an interesting development and an interesting parallel to not just have one final villain, but to just have it actually be a team that goes against our main team.
Mm-hmm. I hope we're finally going to get that big team fight I've been waiting for.
Exactly. And like the whole 4 would never have been enough thing. Maybe it goes both ways. This is Howler and his Elite 3.
I was actually thinking about that. The bit where he said it wouldn't have been enough people no matter how many we brought. I'm actually already ready to just completely write that off as Flashback Man. That was just Araki trying to sound cool. That didn't actually mean anything.
That was just him, a cool line.
I'm kind of sick of Araki, to be honest. As much as I love him still, I'm really sick of all the things where I'm like, oh, does that mean something? Nope. No, it doesn't.
Yeah.
Oh, is he gonna... No, he's not.
It's weird to say that I've been spoiled by, like, good writing, but to say that you're spoiled by something just being written well. But, yeah, like, in One Piece, that would have meant something.
Right.
Even if it was something that Oda himself had to go back and remind himself he wrote, he would make it mean something. He would recontextualize it.
And Araki is just like unburdened by that stuff. Like, it doesn't matter to him if things aren't perfect and they don't quite perfectly fit together like that. Like, he doesn't like caring too much about continuity, I bet you. Like, I bet if you asked him straight up, he would be like, that shit kind of burdens me. It kind of holds me down, man. Like, if I'm beholden to everything I ever wrote, then that's actually a limitation on my creativity. I think he likes that looseness. I don't think he considers that a problem with his writing. But it is a feature that other things do differently.
Not a bug. Yeah, it's a feature, not a bug. And I think that's fine for what it is and for what he's gotten out of it.
Yeah.
But it does put a burden on us, the reader.
Yeah, it does. Because it's like we're carrying around this unnecessary information that doesn't actually lead to anything. And it's like a fucking...
Because it's weird, because, like...
It's a waste of time, and then half the time it's like, oh my god, I was right.
Yeah, because you have the wraparound of JoJoLand for... It's like, this is the story of breaking a curse, and then you get to the end, and it's like, I guess the curse was broken with that closing narration. You're like, it's just not what I expected it to be.
It was like when you tell a kid a bedtime story, and then you're like, okay, that's enough. And they're like, no, read me some more. That wasn't the end. And you're like, okay. And then you read them a little more, and you're like, okay, it's time for bed now. And you're like, no, read me some more. That wasn't the end. Come on, stop lying. And then you go, okay, fine. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. The end. Like, you would just, like, make up a really quick ending.
Yeah, you just
to get it over with. Rocks fall,
say you did
everyone dies. The end.
Rocks fall on Johnny's head. He's dead forever now. That's all he gets.
What do you mean rocks fall? They were outside. Rocks fall. Everyone dies.
Rocks fall. Everyone dies.
All right. Next chapter. We're opening it up. JoJoLands 23. I really, really, really need to go use the restroom real quick, though. I'll be right back. Give me like 5 minutes. Oh! You're the worst! Hello?
Oh.
Oh. All right. Something's got to be done. Something's got to be done. We got to do something.
It's fun.
He's out of control.
It's fun.
Don't worry. All of this is getting cut.
No.
Wait, I didn't. I don't know.
At least use some of it as a cold open for the episode.
No, we already have a cold. Whoa! Oh, you mean before the theme song?
Not that kind of show, Casey.
Before the theme song, just have me laughing.
That's not the kind of humor we do on this show.
Have me laughing before music.
Wait! Have you seen? There's like a bunch of like terrible, poorly edited alternate endings for Joker? Have you seen these?
I've seen a few, yeah.
I have not
The
seen
one
them.
where he says, literally, he's like, how about another joke, Murray? And he says, okay. And then he tells him a joke, and then Murray says, you see, that's funny, Arthur. That's the kind of humor we do on this show. And then it plays like a nice song and everything fades out. You see, that's funny, Arthur. That's the kind of humor we do on this show.
That's the kind of humor we do on this show.
I like the one that goes, how about another joke, Murray? Okay, and then he just shoots him in the head, and the audience loses their shit laughing.
Okay, no, the one I saw, it was exactly what I just said. How about a joke? Okay, tells the joke. You see, that's funny. That's good. That's the kind of humor we do on the show. But the joke was that he shot him, but then the gun just did the bang with the little flag, like the classic Joker.
Oh, that's awesome.
And
I love
he
that.
said, that's funny. That's the kind of humor we do on this show.
That's funny. That's the kind of humor we do on this show.
I was blowing my nose, sorry. Okay, alright. It came out the top end, but... I had an epic zinger the other day. I was at the bar, and I was bartending, and Mike was there. And Mike is one of the other bartenders. Mike Morgan, a.k.a. Bicycle Jesus. DJ BJ. Check him out. Bicycle Jesus. Mike was there, and he was fucking hanging out with his on-again, off-again lover, Lauren, another friend of mine. And Kendall is there, too. Kendall and Lolo are best friends. And so it's like me and the two ladies, we're just standing at the bar and gabbing, and I'm behind it, but they're in front of it. And I'm like serving them drinks and shit, you know, like I do on a Sunday. And then Mike comes up, big loud Mike, and he starts going, baba, like Mike usually does. And then he fucking burp, like big ass burp. And me and Kendall and Lolo all look at him like, bro, like we can smell that. Like right in our ears. I know. So this is like, I'm not being like, look at me, look how one of the girls I am. But I was also like, bro, gross. Ease it up, man. Like, dial it back. And so I was like, dude, gross. And like Lolo and Kendall had these expressions on their faces like, oh, God, this guy, why do we put up with him? Even though like he and Lolo have been together for like 5 years. So they had these fucking looks on their faces.
Never gets old.
And I was like, all right, so none of us liked that. So I'm free to zing him. I'm free to tell him he's a gross fucker. So I was like, Mike, gross, what the fuck? Like right in our faces? Like you couldn't do that anywhere else? And he says, fucking just be glad it didn't come out the other end. And I said, what are you, Shrek? What the fuck kind of thing to say is that? Everybody laughed. It was a good zinger.
Shrek?
Like, I think Shrek literally says that.
Better out it in, I always.
Okay, it was a little different, but still. I was like,
might as well be
who
a
are
Shrek
you?
line.
Like, there's like...
It might as well.
Like, you don't have to be me to like, you're just like walking right up to like the pretty ladies and just burping loudly in their face. Like, who are you? How did you make it this far in life? He's like 50. It's an older guy.
What a hero.
He's like
What a
ex-military
brave
and shit, but he's like the coolest, silliest ex-military guy I know. There's a
Hell
mini game
yeah.
at Palo where there's a beer pitcher stapled to a wall, and there's a sign next to it that says "Bounce your quarter off the bar, land it in here, win a free drink." And so people will do that. They'll ask me like, "Can I get $5 in quarters?" And just like ping, miss, ping, you know. And when I first came to Palo, I had said to Mike, who was the bartender the first night I went there, I was like, that must get annoying. People pinging these quarters all fucking night. And he was like, I've been in combat. There's been worse stuff whizzing by my head. I don't really care about some quarters.
Fair enough.
Fair enough, big dude. Anyway, little anecdotes from my life that I wanted to share with you. I've been getting a lot of good zingers off lately. Calling Mike Shrek is only one of them.
That is a good one. I like Shrek.
It's well timed. It doesn't even have to be like that creative, but just getting a zinger off at the perfect moment.
The timing is everything with zinger.
Timing's everything.
90% is timing, 10% is actual No, 5% is confidence. The other 5% is actual.
Like joke writing. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
And it's 10% luck, 20% skill.
15%. Several crispy $100
Concentrated
bills.
power of will. Oh, that was a better one. Yeah.
I just wanted to put some originalness into it. I didn't want to say the existing line. I wanted to say something else that also rhymed. All right, so motherfucking, I want to talk about a couple things on the fucking title page here. First of all, up at the top, there's a Rohan movie coming out.
That's awesome.
At a confessional. The first
The
Rohan
movie
story
Rohan.
chronologically.
Is
Rohan
that
goes
live action
to
or is that more? Is that like a feature length anime episode?
Like an
I'm-
OVA? I don't know.
I'm very, very sure it is part of the live action Rohan lineage.
Interesting.
Yeah, live action.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, so there's that up top. Very cool. And then there's event, the JoJo animation series up till now and from here fan event.
Yeah, very exciting.
Pretty neat. I mean, that's gonna be details. And look
They're
on the
going
thing.
to say
There's the stone mask, the red stone of Asia, the hand on Jotaro's hat, the fucking anchor for Josuke, the beetle, and the butterfly.
yeah.
Ladybug.
That's
rather,
all
and the
6.
butterfly. So
That's
I mean,
all 6 that have been animated so far. And
What's
the
the-
arrow is still pointing forward.
right? What's the one for 7 gonna be? Do you think?
It's gonna be Johnny's horseshoe.
Horseshoe.
I knew
Yeah.
it. Yeah, horseshoe. I was gonna say horseshoe for
100%.
sure.
It is 100% the horseshoe.
I mean, what else could it be? Gyro's
And
steel
then-
ball, but that's basically
Yeah.
a circle. That doesn't read
That's
very well as
basically
like
a
an
circle.
icon.
Although to be fair, what
To
would
be fair.
Josuke 8's be? A
The
bubble with a
Mario
star
M.
in it? The Mario M.
No, actually, I would say that Josuke 8 honestly should have the anchor. I associate that with him a lot more than I associate it with Josuke 4. Josuke 4
Fair
should just
enough.
have a heart.
Yeah.
I
fair
associate
enough.
him with hearts much more than I associate him with anchors. I know he has both, but
He's not a water type.
he's not
Yeah.
a water type. That's
He's not wearing-
Chris, so true. So true. Plus
He's
2.
not wearing the full sailor suit, nor does his stand have a giant anchor on its chest.
Right, like it's almost impossible for me to associate that symbol with Josuke 4. Like
Yeah.
it's so iconic to 8.
Mm-hmm.
It's on
In more
his
ways
chest
than
and
one.
it's on his stand's chest.
And on his stand, yeah.
Yeah. Josuke is the heart. Josuke 4, Joelsuke is anchor.
Josuke.
Alright. So the
But
chapter
then-
Get
begins.
there when we get there.
But then Jodeo's symbol is also the hearts. There's a different hearts.
Yeah, but it's got little puffs coming out of it, and it's got a little zing-zong on it.
Yeah, it's got like the little wing stuff. His symbol is the blowhole on top of it.
Yeah, he's a water type, and he has a blowhole. Kind of forgot about that.
He has a blowhole.
All right, well, I have like 20 minutes here before I need to start getting ready for work. Should we try and get through some of this, or are you guys free
Let's get
tomorrow?
as
Do you
far
want to
as
do
we can.
some little extra overtime tomorrow?
I could do overtime tomorrow.
I could do overtime later in the day after work tomorrow.
What time do you get off work?
I get off work at 5 p.m. my time.
Oh,
So
see,
that's
not gonna
2 for
work.
me.
Oh, is it? Oh, right.
'Cause
No,
I'm-
that's 3 for you.
Yeah, that's 3 for me. Because I'm
But
2
then we
hours
had
behind you.
we had the time for Casey to get home, so that's probably more 3:30.
Yeah,
Yeah.
4:34, and then I've got to be
Yeah.
at Palo opening at 6. So maximum we could squeeze in like an extra hour tomorrow.
Well, let's get as much as we can today.
All right, let's rock. I'm gonna blaze through this, and I mean this is a good chapter, but we'll
It is a
stop if we
really
have
good
stuff to
chapter.
say. Usagi can't shut the fuck up about The Walking Dead. This is 2 chapters in a row now. I guess Araki watched that too.
Well, I mean,
do you think he just went on like
seen
an
The
American
Walking Dead?
prestige binge TV kick from like the 2010s?
I mean, he really might have. He loved media.
Look, the pandemic lasted a long time. Okay, he had
That's
a lot
fair.
of time to watch stuff.
Yeah, he had a big backlog that he hasn't gotten to incorporate into JoJo's yet.
He hasn't gotten to work it in.
Mm-hmm.
Every time he sees something, he's like, "Ooh, I'm gonna take that bit."
Well, that's the other benefit of finally having a part in modern day is he doesn't have to. He can play fast and loose with now.
With what now?
He doesn't have
you
to
cut
be.
out.
I said he doesn't have to play fast and loose with what he referenced.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Now that he's got a modern day setting.
Well, I mean, TBH, he's had one for a long time, since 2011. I mean,
Fair.
but
yeah,
then it
by the
quickly
time
became not modern anymore.
Yes, by the end.
It was
Because it
suddenly
went on
retro,
for, like-
actually.
It went on for like 10 years.
Yeah.
It did go on for 10 years.
11 years of JoJolian. Can you believe that shit?
I wonder if we're going to have 11 years of the JoJo Land.
I don't know if. I don't think this doesn't feel like an 11-year part.
No, not with the like action-packed, all the moving parts that we have so far.
I really like.
A lot of pieces on the board.
Was part 5 not shorter than part 4 as well?
I believe they just all got longer. I don't know. I think 4 was shorter than 3, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I don't
We
remember.
we don't have time to fact check.
Yeah,
this
I don't
now.
want to. That would take like 5 entire minutes that we could be using to blaze through this. Right, so we're going to the mansion and we're impersonating the bank employee. What's up with the car? And he's like talking so much shit about the car. This thing's a piece of junk. It's falling apart. Are these bullet holes? And Paco's like, "It's my car. What of it?" I love that. Oh yeah, and then Charming Man is like a real hit with all the cuties in the back seat. Like everyone's all over him.
Also, maybe confirmed to actually be a like subset or offshoot of Rock Person.
I think he is. I think he's a rock.
Women
human.
want him. Men also want him.
Yeah,
dude.
Everyone wants
fear
a
him?
piece of him. They don't call him Charming Man for nothing.
I like that he fucking like we get a very clear explanation from him. Like, nah, the skin thing is different. Actually, it's got nothing to do with my stand. We have long lifespans. It's almost like, oh my god, you guys! Oh my god, you guys! I've got it.
Probably, okay.
He's the result of a rock human and a human breeding. That's what his clan is.
I was going to say that,
Chris.
like several generations back.
Because they said that that's impossible. That they can mate and have children, but that romance and marriage and love between them is pretty hard, if not impossible, because of their different lifespans and the different ways that they are humans and rock humans. But it is possible. They did say that it could be done. It's not that they have a different amount of chromosomes. So honestly, I think that that's who he is. I think that's what he is. I think that's what the deal is. Why he's more human than the other rock humans.
I was going to say, because his disposition, he's not as detached as rock human. He's more like he's literally a sand human more than a rock human, because they keep saying his skin is coarse and sandy rather than rock.
Because he's like halfway between a silicone being and a carbon being.
Yeah, he is sand.
Right. This
He
is
is
crazy.
Sandman.
I hope we're right.
Kind of Sandman.
Sandman. Sandland.
It all comes together.
I really hope we're right about this.
This feels like the closest like slam dunk we've been with our predictions so far.
Right.
Like, this, if we don't get any more than this, I would say that's still a pretty hard.
He's definitely got to be generations removed though from like the actual rock.
Well, yeah, and it's got to be like the climate of Hawaii is different. We don't know anything else about rock humans other than
he says the whole clan is like.
Right, so like 3 generations back, some lady fucked a rock, and now we're here, you know?
And now the sand, now the rocks have worn down.
So like he probably doesn't need to hibernate like a rock human would, you know?
Yeah. Well, and he even mentions the soil in the village also has rough, rock-like earthworms and moles.
Rock
Maybe it's because of the
animals!
climate. They've got rock animals.
Wait, okay, so then hang on. Maybe it's not being descended from a lady who fucked a rock. Maybe it's something that comes from the earth.
Mmm.
I don't know, but I think he's part rock. I think we're right about that. I'm locking that in as like my first.
We have to
solid
100%.
prediction.
That is a slam dunk.
That fool's
if
part
ever there
rock
was
for
one.
sure, skis.
Yeah.
I wonder, I
maybe-
wonder, what if anything, combat-wise, his rock heritage will bring to the table.
Well, so far, all it's brought to the table is getting his ass kicked by the heroes, which is, par for the course for rocks.
Yeah. At least he wasn't shattered like rock.
Dude, every time, part 8 was awesome because people just kept blowing up. Like,
Yeah.
in JoJo, people don't normally,
exploding.
explode into debris. Like, it's kind of a rarity, but it was happening, every fight.
I just realized he was defeated by the Joestar gang underwater, just like the first rock human we ever encountered.
Yeah. Yeah. Yagiyama.
For some reason, it didn't activate my Discord microphone. The green circle didn't come on, but I was clapping. I had vape in my mouth, so I couldn't say anything, but I was clapping. Yes, you're so fucking right. It's their natural... See, this is the thing. They're both water types because they both have to fight rock types.
Yeah, exactly.
But tish me, dude. But tish me. Rim shot me. No, hit the...
I'm sorry, I didn't have it up.
No.
I got it.
Casey got you.
I was asking Casey for it. I was putting him on the spot. I'm trying to make this fucking... I'm trying to make this okay, alright. I'm trying to make this fucking soundboard joke work with me here instead of against me. I needed a rim shot from him. That's you. You're a clown. You're being a clown this episode.
We are the entire circus.
We are the entire circus.
You're a clown, Chris is a lion tamer, and I'm a bearded lady, and together we are a circus.
Together we are the Locacacast.
I tamed the JoJo lion.
Yeah, so he's wearing a little sailor hat, like Josuke the dog.
yeah.
Josuke the dog might be my favorite fucking character.
Josuke the dog is awesome.
He's great. He's one panel, and he's like, he steals the show.
Josuke, parentheses, dog.
So good. It's ruined the wiki forever. Now every time you search, it's gonna be like, which one? Do you mean the dog? No, I don't fucking mean the dog!
Yes, I mean the dog.
Which one do you mean? Josuke the dog, Josuke part 4, Josuke part 8, or Josuke the original name of Norisuke the 4th? Well, good question. May I ask why you would think I would ever be meaning the dog or Norisuke? Anyway.
I don't know about you, but I always mean the dog.
I always like
he's a sweet boy. All right, Charming Man's backstory. If I hadn't gone with my brother to the place, in our village there's a belief that people that spend the night laughing with family will meet the same family even after they're reborn. We're here at the Howler Estate. Oh, these pages look so fucking cool.
The art is so fucking good in this part, dude.
Back-to-back spreads.
Man.
Yeah. Just knocking it out of the park every single time. Like, every chapter just gets better and better.
They're talking about the helicopter, and Jodio doesn't know what act of the story he's in. He's saying we're gonna go do our final push against Howler. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, dickhead. Okay.
Okay, we're 22 chapters in. Calm down.
This guy, he thinks he's about to fight King Crimson 2. He's about to fight King Crimson 1.
Back it up.
Yeah, exactly. He fucking thinks that this is gonna be like the final battle right now. He doesn't know that we're on chapter goddamn 22.
This is not the victory lap you think it is, Jody. Calm down. Calm down, son.
Do you think Howler's stand is actually going to come out?
Oh yeah, I think this is going to be like when Jolene handcuffs herself to Poochie, and she like gives it her all, but isn't able to close the deal.
I feel like there's something to be said about denying us for a bit longer, Just like
Well,
save that moment for later
it
in the story.
is weird because we know confirmed he has a stand. He just summoned it for a reason for one
We've
panel.
seen it. It looks like a dirt person.
Yeah, with like weird flowers and stuff on it.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know why we would see it so early
But I mean,
to not see it again until much later.
I think it's very possible that like we're not actually going to get a real showdown. That, like,
Well, we may not get a
Howler
stand
yet.
fight, but I do think he might at least reveal it or tell us its name. Maybe we'll get an allusion to what its ability is.
I don't
Yeah.
know. It's gonna have to be something ridiculous and insane.
Mhm.
It can't be. Cause like
More,
let's recap. Vampire.
More,
Crazy, crazy, crazy vampire. Time
Yeah.
stop. Exploding bombs that are invisible. Time skip. Time
thinking,
acceleration. Alternate universes. The forces of calamity. So like it has to be something that belongs in that group, right?
I'm thinking this could
No.
be like around. This is either Bruno versus King Crimson, or it's the Savage Garden arc of Part 6 in terms.
I
of
was going to say
placement
Savage
of the
Garden.
story.
I think this is where we get a White Snake stand that will evolve into the Time Fuckery stand. Either via the lava rock or whatever other mechanisms we encounter in the rest of the part.
Right.
I don't think this is his final stance, is what I'm trying to say, which is why. What the fuck? Introduce this earlier, give us a base level, and then we'll build off of it as the protagonists and the antagonists go on their separate journeys.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think we're getting a White Snake type stand from Howler.
That would be interesting. We haven't had an evolving stand in a minute, not since Tusk. Man, I was really hoping somebody's stand would evolve in Part 8, but it
What if
didn't
his
happen.
stand starts as Epitaph and then evolves to King Crimson?
Into King Crimson, that would be cool too. I would like that a lot.
That way you combine White Snake and King Crimson, because you know each of these new universe parts has been sort of a synthesis of what came before.
Well,
Like-
exactly, and it's also incorporated previous final villain stands. We've gotten both the World and Killer Queen in some capacity, so it would make logical sense we at least see King Crimson next.
I don't know that Iraqi's into making logical sense there, you guys.
I mean, that's fair, but
Howler is also a King Crimson reference.
it is a King Crimson reference, and he's been doubling down on his references. Charming Man and his stand are both named after the Smith songs.
Okay, that's
Bobby
a
G.
good point.
Bobby Jean and Glory Days are both Bruce Springsteen songs.
Okay, good points all around. I want to bring something up where I think it would be really cool. I think regardless of what his stand does, we're going to be seeing a villain who needs to develop their use of their power. You know what I mean?
Yes.
We're not going to be seeing somebody
100%.
who's like super well versed in it and knows all the ins and
Which
outs
is
and like the
why-
alternate uses of the power and like all this
Which-
creative shit. He doesn't have
which
that
is
figured
why
out.
I
He hasn't
think
had to do that.
Which is why I think it's too early in the story for Howler's stand to come out in any, real utility sense.
No, I don't think he's going to use it in a capacity.
might
I
see-
think
we-
he's going
we
to
might-
use
we
it to
might see
show
it
that he
come
has
out-
it.
We might see it come out as like, just sort of, you can see the repressed anger beneath the surface boiling over, and that's the stand.
Prediction. I think that this situation with Howler on the boat, rather than it going to unfold like he's fighting them, I think he's going to use his stand to slow them down or stop them and escape. I think he's going to use his stand to get out of the situation, because following the theme of like our heroes are actually the villains, they're like going on this boat to like jump him and like just gank all his shit. So from his perspective, he's like, I gotta get the fuck out of here. Like, he's the hero evading an ambush by a bunch of villains from his perspective.
So in other words, Jodio and friends are the King Crimson, and he's the Bruno.
Exactly. Like, he's gonna take some damage, but he's gonna get out of this. He's gonna get away and live to tell a fight to go and come back another day.
I was gonna save that for later in the chapter too, but that's kind of the Merc and I were talking about it just in the server last night. That's kind of the vibe where I'm getting at with these fights is I really feel like these characters are going to stick around for longer than we think. Like, they just strike me as very capable, very
the villain
persistent.
Has his own Joestar gang.
That's what I mean. That's what I want. I would like that so much now that it's been put on the table. I would love Howler to have his own gang.
But this villain is the most distant from his gang that any of them have been. He doesn't know these people even. He didn't even realize he had them on staff.
For at least for now, and then...
That's just like when Joestar meets their gang.
Yeah, and then we can have another parallel where Howler does a heel turn towards the end, and he's like, I don't need you guys anymore. And then he can just send them out as death fodder or whatever. But for right now, he's going to rely on them like a crutch as a support system.
He will become the Crimson King.
Exactly, until he's like, oh, I'm strong enough now that I can do this on my own. See you later, guys. And he might even betray his own
evolution.
If he
of
had,
the protagonist
I would love...
and the antagonist.
It's crazy that like I wanted that from Hero Aka and I didn't get it, and now I'm gonna get it from Aka Aka.
Aka Acha Howler.
Acha Howler?
I would love
post hole.
Acha Howler. It's true. He's going to post hole once
he's gonna need to once he's broke.
Yeah, exactly. He opens up and
I mean, he's kind of hot. Look at him.
He is kind of hot.
All right, I'm gonna need to leave, like, immediately, and we gotta like do a little extra time tomorrow if we can. That'd be sweet. And so, property of the bank, blah de blah. The next panel is the one I'm gonna leave off on. That's the process through which we'll corner Howler, because this fucking
cool
rules.
Panel. The Stardust Crusaders lineup,
I actually like that Charming Man is part of the gang now. I was like, why did we do this?
I was going to say, he has proven his usefulness almost immediately. Right. It's great.
Like, he's been in 2 or 3 tough situations with the gang now, and now when you draw him standing with everyone like this, it doesn't feel weird to me. It feels like he belongs there now.
Yeah, at this point, it feels like he should have been there from the start. Like, Araki actually wanted him to be there. He just had to introduce him to the story.
I genuinely feel like he was going to just let this guy die, and then he changed his mind. But it is a lot like the thing you were talking about, where, like, you just let the characters speak for themselves. If you know them well enough, then you can just kind of let them make decisions and write down what they did. You know? You're not deciding for them. You're just allowing them to move naturally. And naturally, the natural movement for Paco in that moment was to be like, you know what? Actually, I don't think we kill this guy. I think we see if we can turn it.
I respect this guy.
Right.
I know what we should call. I know what we should call this gang.
What?
The Angel Dust Crusaders.
The Angel Dust Crusaders.
The Angel Dust Crusaders.
What about the Sawdust Crusaders?
Is sawdust a drug?
No, but it's close to Star. Okay, I'm gonna write a joke where Sawdust Crusaders is the punchline, and you guys are gonna like it. I'm gonna use that for something.
Okay.
Jotaro and Avdol take a woodshop class. Sawdust Crusaders.
The Sawdust Crusaders.
Sawdust Crusaders.
All right, Sawdust you tomorrow. And we're back.
We're back at it again.
We're back in good old 380 Evergreen Terrace. No, that's the house from The Simpsons. What's Peter Griffin's address?
He lives on Spooner Street.
Really? That's weird.
Yeah, I don't remember his exact address.
I should have just said we're back at the Drunken Clam.
31 Spooner Street.
31 Spooner Street. Thank you.
Mark just knew that off the dome?
No, I Googled it.
Jeez, fuck, Gary Googler over here. Quick fingers.
31 Spooner Street.
Gary the Googler.
Gary the Gooner.
Oh man.
Anyway,
Oh
we're
man.
we're back covering chapter 22 of JOJOLands.
We are picking up right where we left off. Yeah. Badass shot of the whole fucking people. Of
Hitting their Stardust Crusaders.
Right. Sawdust Crusaders.
The Sawdust Crusaders.
Fortnite
Crusaders.
Fortnite crew gamers.
Oh my god, kind of, yeah.
I mean, Jodio literally plays Nintendo Switch. He has Fortnite.
I was gonna
He's a
say, we
zoomer.
saw him playing Fortnite on the Nintendo Switch.
Well,
You
we
can't
theorized it
convince
was
me otherwise.
Fortnite. Because, like, what else is he playing? Breath of the Wild?
No.
Splatoon?
He doesn't have... Maybe Splatoon.
But Fortnite is so much cooler than Splatoon. I feel like Jodio would not... He would get bullied for playing Splatoon instead of Fortnite.
Well, yeah, that's why he
JoJo's-
turned to a life of crime.
Right, that's his
JoJo's
backstory.
definitely getting that victory royale every day.
Oh, yeah. Jodio is like... I don't even know enough to make a good Fortnite joke.
I also have never played the Fortnite.
Yeah, I mean, I played it once when there was Thanos in it. I just wanted to play as him one time, and I never got to. And I was like, this is not very fun, and I uninstalled it. Never played it.
Yeah.
I only it's funny because I only know the Fortnite references from that meme song.
Oh my
my
God.
god. My friend just got downed. I revived him. Now we're going to Tomato
Now we're
Town.
heading to...
But
We just wiped out Tomato Town.
But none of that is applicable because none of the references in that song are still in the game.
You're
Yeah.
laughing.
keep
They just
changing the
wiped
map.
out Tomato Town and you're laughing.
I am.
Alright, so Fortnite Victory Royale. Skibbidi Rizz, only in Ohio. We go Jims's Cut a Bold. Skibbidi. Hawktua. What am I? Where am I? Hello?
He's default dancing all day.
I don't know. I think I'm just short circuiting. Just put the fries in the bag, little bro. So Charming Man's Yokohama, and Dragona is fucking in a suit. Dragona's. That's the sound of my
My
never
ears.
mind.
Bruh.
Sorry.
Dragona's out here looking fantastic. I love her outfit. We were just gushing
I
about it.
I love this outfit a lot.
Really fucking cool.
I hope this trend continues of the gang needing disguises for
it is clean,
events.
it is happening, it is professional.
Professional. This Armani suit.
What's the Lady Gaga bit where she's like, incredible, amazing, stunning, groundbreaking, never been anything like it, world changing.
Well, it
Never
seems like
heard
you
that
just
before.
did. I was gonna say, it seems like you know that bit. I don't know that bit.
As far as I'm concerned, that's the canon bit right there.
Okay,
Yeah,
great.
you know more than we do
Hey,
about Lady Gaga.
I should have just played it like that was the exact quote. I mean, I got a couple of them wrong, but she's clapping and keeps saying positive adjectives so superlatively, and so that's
Well,
me
you
at
didn't,
Dragona
like,
right now.
You really didn't stutter or miss a beat, so. you
But I
it
made up
sound
like half of
authentic.
them. Yeah, I guess it's all confidence. It's all in the delivery.
It's all in the delivery, exactly.
Anyway, Paco, look, Pink Chan changed into a black suit. I want to talk about this. The Pink Chan thing is sticking. Paco,
Yeah.
Pink Chan changed into a black suit. Are you saying she's black pink?
Oh
my god.
shit. Blackpink in your area. For real, for real.
Click here to find out more.
Blackpink in my area? It's more likely than you think.
It's more likely than you think.
But I love that this stupid Reservoir Dogs reference, this fucking, you can be pink and I'll be blue, blah, 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 and nobody cares about it. The Pink Chan thing is
Yeah.
actually stuck, though.
I think what's even funnier is on the next page, Paco just straight up says, yeah, their code names are Pink and Yokohama.
Right,
And
I
Yokohama,
paged over to
yeah.
the next page. That's what I
It's
was trying.
official now.
I was waiting to get to. Their code names are Pink and Yokohama. So fucking cool. We're the logistical support protecting Dragona and the others in the lava rock from the land. Is it really a good idea for Jodio to just look all normal? Well, he's a part-time gopher, so it should be fine. He already is a gopher in real life.
Yeah, he's committed to the role.
Right. He's a little hireling. He's a little go-between. He's a little liaison. He's a gopher. Got some cornbread and some huli huli chicken. You want some? Oh, well, don't mind if I do.
Fucking Paco, always with the snacks, dude.
Dude, he's
I hope
got
that's
like he's fucking shredded, right? But he's a guy who used to be fat. So like he's running at like a caloric deficit, but he's still eating like he used to. That's the thing.
well, yeah, probably largely in part due to the hustle, because as Jodio
What's with
once
the chicken, this
commented,
guy?
yeah, because as Jodio even commented, like he got super buff, and I don't know if that has anything to do with his stand or not.
I have no clue. I mean, I think probably because it's about having muscles and manipulating them. I think he probably hustled himself fit. What do you guys think?
Exactly, like Funny Valentine, alternate dimensioning
You know what'd be
himself
cool
off
is if
screen.
he didn't come in contact with like a devil's palm or the walleyes or anything. Is if he had like a Tonio Trussardi stand, like just something about his soul and his personality and his self.
Yeah.
Like he
Well,
wanted
are
to
you-
get ripped, and then like a stand
Are
was
you
brought
saying-
about by that.
Are you saying he awakened his stand in some sort of Rocky training montage?
Yeah, I mean, like, Rocky
Now
fucking 4 running up the snowy mountain and the car can't even make it behind him type shit.
Honestly, now that you've said that, that kind of feels appropriate to this arc or this story so far, because we saw how Jodio and Dragona awoke to their stands, and they just did it as manifestations of their wants and desires in the moment. They didn't come in contact with anything.
Well,
Jodio awoke to November Rain because he wanted to protect Dragona, and Dragona, you could argue, awoke him to their stand via their whole gender identity and wanting
I
to
feel
manipulate that.
I feel like Araki's basically completely abandoned any semblance of trying to like gatekeep stands. Anybody who wants a stand can just get it. Just
Yeah, there's no
be
more like
motivated enough.
mechanism. And I mean, to be fair, no, never mind. I was gonna say Koichi kind of
No.
willed his own stand into existence
he got
in
shot
a
by the
way,
arrow, though.
No, he
didn't
got shot by the arrow.
but he died. Is the thing. It
Well,
didn't.
the
like,
arrow
it
works in
didn't-
mysterious ways. I don't know.
It didn't take until Josuke healed him, because it's either you die or you get a stand.
Well, that's because it was just an egg to start with.
Well, yeah.
Well, yeah, no, I don't know. No, he wasn't strong enough at that moment, but there was something in him. I don't know. That's interesting to think about, actually.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
I'm
really.
trying to think of other stands that just kind of manifested rather than needed something
Avdol.
to jumpstart them.
I'm interested in stuff like that, like
Mm-hmm.
Kakyoin.
now at
as
this
well.
point-
Kakyoin was a child stand user. His whole backstory, he was
Yeah.
lonely and nobody ever got him because he could see his stand.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like, I'm really interested in those characters and that type of stuff because, like, as cool as, like, you know, the arrow, the Joestar birthmark, the Devil's Palm, the walleyes.
Wasn't the Milagro Man just a curse?
Yeah,
straight
I don't
up?
even think that it was a stand. I mean, it's a
I
magic
also-
thing, but it's totally.
I
a curse.
think the
I mean,
same
it
could be
look- it-
applied to.
It had like a physical body like a stand.
Yeah,
Well,
but I think
sure.
the same could be applied to Wonder of You, because it's never explicitly stated how
Oh my
Toru
god.
awakened to it. Because it's almost implied that the Wonder of You
mentioned
is
that-
its own
mentioned that
thing.
rock humans take to stands more easily than normal people.
Right, they have a better propensity for it. Can I tell you guys something? I just quoted the Wonder of You's speech to my friend the other day. They were telling me about how they had like a bad like DUI arrest like 10 years ago, and it cost them a lot of money and a lot of time, and you know, they're like just out here living normally like the rest of us now, but they were like, this happened to me and let me tell you about it. And they were saying they were like, they got drunk in San Francisco and got arrested in Phoenix. Like, they got on the plane and kept drinking and then got off the plane and tried to drive their car that was in the airport
Oh my
parking lot
God.
home and fucking just, like, backed into some shit and was, like, immobilized and the cops came. But I quoted to them the Wonder of You bit where he's like, the point on a long journey where you are most likely to meet with disaster is just before returning home. And they were like, so true, so true.
So true.
Because you feel like you've done it. Like, I'm already... Like, this is my city. I know these streets. I don't have to be careful, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, not only wherever you went, you know, the heat map of places that you've gone, the street leading to your house is, like, the hottest, you know? So you're always going there, so statistically likely. But also, like, emotionally, like, you let your guard down. You're like, oh, I'm basically home already, you know?
Exactly.
The point
Your
on a long journey,
overconfidence.
you're most likely to meet with disasters just before returning home. So true.
Just before home.
And that line really stuck with me because at the time I thought it meant that this is the second to last battle. I thought he was saying, like, this is the disaster before you return home, returning home being the final arc that we didn't get.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, even after Toru's death, wonder if you can still function due to the fact that it represents and is made from the idea of calamity itself, with Yasuo even theorizing that it was born from some type of calamity energy.
What's like the worst disaster that ever happened? I wonder if that's what created it.
I don't know, yeah.
In Japan?
Well, not necessarily. The Milagro Man's not Japanese by nature.
I do wonder if it had anything to do with, like, the corpse parts.
I mean, there have been,
And
5 major extinction events in Earth's history?
Yeah, but it needs to be something that was, like, caused by people. Like a Rube Goldberg of disaster. Like how Calamity works with the Wonder Review. Like Chernobyl or something. Like if somebody, like, drops their coffee mug and it ends up killing 1 million people.
Yeah, like that... a sequence of exchanges.
Right,
that
exactly.
butterfly effect.
All right, well, I want to get to the next page or something here. We're
Oh,
pulling
yeah, I
up on the
guess we should
boat.
do that.
You get on from the stern. Somebody's coming out onto the deck. Oh, it's Howler. This is so scary. We're just face to face. This is why I'm saying this is like Jolene fighting Poochie early.
I know. We're so in there already. It's intense.
We're in there
I kind of
like swimwear.
like swimwear.
And he's coming at you like Cleopatra.
And these, I just love. You absolutely nailed it. Just how intimidating these panels are of him looking down over the side of the boat with his lawyer friend.
The 2-page spread with the face-off.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
This is so awesome. This is
is
giving
so
me
cool.
big, like, Inglourious Bastards vibes as well. Like, we're sneaking in, pretending to be people that we're not, and
we're
we
not.
don't really know much about them. Or no, not Inglourious Bastards. Motherfucking, Hateful Eight is a way better comparison for this. Because this guy's gotta pretend that everything's cool and that he knows what's going on, when in reality, he killed this guy.
Yeah. Well, the other crazy thing is that I don't know if it was intentional foreshadowing or not, but we already kind of got a bit of Charming Man not knowing enough about this guy to properly be him.
Well, that was
in
to
the
his
exchange
wife.
with his wife. Yeah. So now we're like with someone who, for as far as we know, has dealt directly with Howler before. So it's even more precarious.
I think that's foreshadowing, but I think we're gonna get another moment like that. But he's gonna nail it this time. Like he's gonna be on the verge of fucking it all up and save it. That's my guess.
That would be interesting.
And then
I would like to see that.
This starts a weird chain of events. It's a mass text message from school to us students from the principal. School computer from Meryl May. No, she would never contact with his computer or cell phone. The Hawaiian. This ain't homework. It's a code. It's a Hawaiian history textbook we use. The 20th word. Open that up and go back 10 pages. I don't know how you guys are figuring this all out, but whatever. How do you know it's back 10 pages instead of forward?
Mm-hmm. I mean, maybe this is an established code that they've had from Meryl May before.
The pursuers were drawing near, but she had to have a resolute attitude. Pursuers, and then everyone's freaking out. Maybe they're in the middle of finding us out now. Right as we're pulling up on the back of the boat and getting on with Howler. And then the fucking Ningbo and Bam Kazam, Lam Chabang, Shabibidi
Shebang.
Bang Bop,
Bam Kazam.
Bam Kazam and Dig Bar, Dig Boy.
Whoa, Black Betty. Bam-a-lam.
Bam-a-lam. Okay, so Bam-a-lam
Whoa.
and Ningbo are there at the office, and they're Meryl May is like playing it cool. I'll need a moment before I can seat you. But they're like asking random teachers, showing them Paco's photo, and then they go into Meryl May's office. And she's sitting there, and she's sort of like, I don't want to give you information. He's a graduate. He's not a graduate. He's a dropout. He enlisted, dishonorably discharged. I want to know about that. We got to get a Paco flashback.
We have to be. That's got to be what's getting set up within the next few chapters. Which also makes me concerned for Paco's safety, knowing how JoJo backstories go. We never really get those until a character is about to die or be critically wounded.
Right. And I mean, like...
Paco's going to step into the office and be like, let's wrap this up quick so I can get back to having my yummy chicken snack. Also, famous last words of Narancia being like, oh man, I can't wait till this
pizza.
Yeah, till this mission's over so I can have a margarita pizza. Like, oh.
And the thing is,
well,
that's kind of been... Narancia's been like that the whole story. So you didn't really think anything of it at the time.
No. Exactly.
It actually, like, he pulled the trick off perfectly.
Subtle,
even though in hindsight, it's like, oh no, buddy, don't say that. Don't start saying all that I've got one day till retirement type stuff.
Exactly.
In hindsight, it's so...
I'm so glad we managed to get out of this with all of us alive.
I know. In hindsight, you're like, stop saying that stuff. Obviously, you were going to die after saying that. But at the time,
and it's in character
for him, so you don't question it.
Yeah, it's another example, like how we were talking about Araki kind of spelling out his villain's motivations of violence being currency.
Right.
We now have another example, like you said, with the Wonder of You monologue, of how he establishes character deaths is right before they make it home. That's when calamity is more bound to strike.
But then there's always the double rug pull, the Joseph Joestar. You know what I mean? He loves to make us believe characters are fully dead, which is why Part 8, the ending, was so weird and disappointing. Like, what the hell? Where's the double rug pull, jackass?
Where is it? Yeah,
like
why wasn't...
You used to know how to do that. What happened?
You used to know how to do that, and then you did it for one character in a really unsatisfying way when it should have been the other one that would have made much more sense.
I don't know.
I still can't believe, like, the lack of competency of the character of Jobin.
He was so good. He was the main villain. Why did we waste so much time on this random jackass who just got introduced 20 chapters ago?
Fucking
garbage.
Fucking womp womp.
Fucking ass. You know how yeah, fucking ass. Yeah, give me a wet shit. Give me the gross one.
If you insist,
you don't shit on JoJoLands.
Don't gotta ask me twice.
Anyway, you know how poor Tom got poor Tommed? Jobin should have done that to Toru. He should have poor Tommed Toru.
He really should have. I still feel like there was something missing from Speed King. There was never like a big moment for Speed King.
It seemed like a stand that had a lot more to it than we were shown.
And it's really easy, right? Because he drops the pot and then Toru like goes and touches it, doesn't he? Well, no, I guess Joshu touches it next. Because he exchanges his arm with Yasuo.
Yeah. But it's like, I'm pretty sure there was a line from Jobin himself where he said he hasn't even revealed Speed King's full potential or something to that effect.
There's been a lot of debate about that, and I personally fall on the side that the line is a little muddy, and what it's supposed to be conveying is that, like, because this is coming off the back of Norisuke being like, we don't even show our stands to each other. This is him being like, my family doesn't even know what I can do. Like, they don't know the depth of my ability.
Of my Speed King.
Yeah. I don't know. The thing is, like, it would have been really easy. All he had to do was touch something that Toru wanted, i.e. the flower pot, and cauterize his own wound with Speed King. Really, really easy. Super
two
easy.
things that are easy to do and within the range of his ability.
And I know Speed King like heats up objects. He can't like just create like a flaming finger and stab it into his own wound. But you're in a garage. You're in like a hallway closet. Grab something metal, have Heat King speed it, have Speed King heat it, excuse me, and fucking. This is Jobin who fucking on the fly manufactured like homemade oxygen to breathe out of like bleach and shit. This is Jobin. Like, he should have cauterized his own wound
Exactly.
shot.
He should have been able to Bear Grylls himself out of that situation.
He had done it before.
Exactly.
Like, I really hesitate to say that Araki is like a bad writer, but that is a major failure. The betrayal of character that was the ending for Jobin. That's not how he should have gone out. There was so much more potential there. So much more meat on that bone. And you fucking didn't even eat half of it before throwing it away.
We were shown a character with a versatile ability, with survival skills.
Right.
And then
he had gotten out of certain death situations before.
Very similar to one that he got out of before.
And it seems like his stand is suited to get out of this problem specifically. Like the kind of damage he took. It was one hole.
Not to mention where the story seemed to be leading us was,
he's just turned on the family. He just threatened his siblings. He just killed their father.
It seemed like there was more for him to do.
Yeah, he set up the most interesting character drama possible.
Right, and then they did nothing.
And then
with
did
it.
nothing to
Disgusting.
nothing to capitalize on it. Yucky pooey.
So like I have to like, what's the opposite of give him his flowers? I have to shit on him for that. Like, that's bad. That's bad writing.
I have to take his flowers away.
You made a mistake. Like, that was wrong. That you should have done it a different way. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I can't budge on that. I mean, whatever he was going for, we got some good stuff. The art was fucking amazing. The chapter where Josuke's trying to shoot Wonder of You in the face and Paisley Park is there with him and he's got 2 stands is amazing. Like, there's good stuff in it, but as far as the character of Jobin and what you could have done with him and what you were setting up and then completely ignoring that, I have no choice but to label that like a genuine misplay, like a chess.com blunder.
Yeah, it's just not a good moment. There's nothing redeeming in my eyes about it.
You blundered your queen, dude. Huge blunder.
You flumbled.
I can't rate that game very highly because you blundered your fucking queen. Anyway, so she's refusing to give them information about Paco.
If this were a JoJo fight, that would be the point when the protagonist points out the mistake you just made and then beats your ass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You blundered your queen. JoJo character who is doing the stand fight like any other stand fight but can't stop describing it via chess metaphor?
That would be a JoJo character trait, admittedly.
Checkerboard pattern clothes.
Exactly, yeah.
But only half? Like, only just half. Left half checkerboard? No, that's a little too Demon Slayer for me, actually.
Yeah.
I feel like Araki would mix it up more. Like, if you already have a character who makes chess metaphors all the time, it seems a little on the nose for him to also give that character a checkerboard pattern in any way on their clothing.
That is true. He doesn't like to go for the super obvious thing. Like, look at how Lem Chabang is dressed. She's a cop. I mean, Bam Kazam.
Bam Wham.
Bam Lang.
Wham Bam Shangalang.
Wham Bam Shangalang and a sha na 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 na. All right. Anyway, so Wham Bam Shangalang is like, you're afraid. And then I'm going to the next page. I'm blazing through this fucking chapter, man. We gotta get through this.
And this be our running gag. We just never refer to her with the right name.
Yeah.
We just make up new onomatopoeia. Yeah, we just make up new onomatopoeia.
Onomatopoeia.
M. Night Shyamalan here.
Wait, guys, we're going through way too many of these. We need to save it. Save it for the stage.
Yeah, especially if this is going to be a recurring character.
I like how she's like, are you afraid of our questions or is it us? Are we what's so scary? Like, yes, bitch, you're both terrifying looking.
Yeah, you're strangers that bust into my office asking about one of my students.
One of you's 8 feet tall and has the fucking Count Orlok face and is dressed like a firefighter. The other one has nematodes crawling on her glasses and is invading my personal space. So yeah, I'm a little
and has a face tat.
I'm a little wigged out. She's got no hair and a ponytail. How does that work?
I don't know.
And then they're freaking out because she sent something, and then it was just another message to the kids, and then we cut back to the kids, and they're, like, decoding it.
Also, we're just having really great art in this chapter.
This is bad, though. They start bubbling up the fucking keyboard, and then her hand starts bubbling up, and then the keyboard
this is also
fucking explodes.
This
and
is
so
a
then
crazy,
her hand is gonna explode.
It is a crazy moment of a stand reveal.
This is nuts. Also, like, they went straight from like, we're cops, to like, yeah, we're just gonna torture her and blow up her fucking limbs one by one until she tells us something.
Yeah.
Oh my Christ.
Also, this reveal of Ningbo's stand here looks just like those memes you see of dogs who look just like their owners.
It does. his stand's hat looks just like his fireman's helmet.
I was on the wrong page, so I couldn't see it, but yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah, so this is crazy. Meryl May Key is Google Meryl May Key inflation to learn more.
Yeah, so Araki learned to make this chapter as accurate as possible. He looked up all the rules of inflation. If you want to find out more, look up JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Inflation Rule for 34.
Yeah, that's the most important one.
It is the most important one.
You know what's crazy? Because people are having children later, genuine MILFs are harder to come by. It used to be that you could find MILFs that were like 27, 28 years old. And now, like, the youngest MILFs are, like, late 30s. It's true. It's been going up over time. Google MILF inflation to learn more.
Well, if you insist.
All right. Good recycled NL bit, Zoe. Nice one.
Oh, my goodness. Look at
Stolen.
that. Ooh.
Anyway, Pink-chan and the others are already on the cruiser. Jodio's a student.
I don't like that.
Oh, wait, you didn't have to actually Google it.
Oh, this one's of the mom from Gumball.
Okay, all right. Her name is Nicole, by the way, Nicole Watterson, and I'll thank you.
It is Nicole Watterson.
Refer to her properly. Secondarily, send me that.
Do you actually want me to?
No, you goof! I want us to finish this chapter.
Because I'll do it.
No!
They'll do
it's
it.
not bad.
You can post it in the chat as an act of terrorism, and I will look at it, but you don't have to send it to me personally.
It's not bad artwork.
Well, I don't...
It's kind of impressive in a weird way. It's kind of cool to an extent.
I forgot you're a drawist. You're appreciating it from a draw perspective.
I am. Now I'm just looking at extra thick drawings of Nicole Watterson from Gumball.
All right, well, we're going to let Casey do that. We're going to take a break here.
I only need like 30 seconds tops.
All right.
Okay, well, in the meantime, we're like 2 pages from the end.
Yeah, we are. So... I'm on the last 2 pages right now. So the keyboard exploded. Paco and Usagi are trying to figure out what the fuck to do. And they're like, oh shit, this is bad. This is real bad. They're already on the ship. Do you think they read the message? Yeah, what to do is up to them. I'm going back. And so Paco...
You go that way. I'll go home.
I'll go home.
In his car, and he's going to go speed off and confront the pursuers at Meryl May Keys.
And he's going to go set up a 1v2 fight.
I mean, but does Meryl May have a stand?
Well, that's the question that I'm excited to find out.
But
we've seen no indication.
We have to assume that she at least knows about them, because if so, if she didn't, then it's a real amazing, hilarious, major coincidence that every member of the team that she handpicked all has stands.
I think it's been too long since we've had the ally who knows about stands but doesn't have them.
Yeah, that could be very cool. And I mean, like, you can still the people see what happens from stands. They just don't understand it. They just don't get it. So, you know,
Yeah.
Jodio could have made it rain inside, and she would have been like, okay, I get what you do. You know, like,
And first,
She
or
can
on
comprehend.
the other hand, yeah, as far as she knows, these are just kids that have some hidden extraordinary talents
mm-hmm.
that she can exploit to her advantage.
Yeah, and I mean, like, that's all she needs to know for her shit to go down.
Exactly.
Well, you know, she knows these kids are more capable than ordinary kids. And, like, you know,
Well,
you
Casey
want
and
to
I
use
were
kids
talking
for
about-
crime. That's what they're good
Casey-
for.
Casey and I were
It's
talking about
really their
how,
only purpose.
about how this fight that they're setting up seems like an equivalent to Talking Heads and Clash from Part 5.
Mmm.
Because you've got the one combat stand, which is Ningbo's stand, and then the Talking Heads equivalent is your utility stand, which is the nematodes.
Yeah, your dedicated support stand.
Right, one that does damage and one that's for a utility. It does a purpose.
Mm-hmm. But the only question is, will Paco actually feel any fear during this fight to give them the advantage, or will he play it cool?
You know
Well,
what? You're actually a
said,
genius.
I'm looking for the point where he uses the hustle to surgically remove his amygdala, which is the fear center, from his brain.
Oh my god. I don't know
And
if
then-
he can hustle himself like that. I mean, he can, but the inside of his brain is pretty
Of
extreme.
his own brain. Like, you just watch him start pinching his head at some point, and you're like, what is he doing?
That's pretty endgame. Like, if he were to, that's got to be like the last thing he does in the story. You know, like, that's way too cool to happen this early.
Maybe so.
Do you guys remember when Mamazuku almost killed the Wonder Review?
Yeah, I remember that. He got 10 centimeters away, or whatever it was.
What could have been?
It was a cool moment, and then it, they could have expanded upon that, but they didn't really do that.
Anyway,
I need
He
to
just
make
said,
that
"Oh, yeah, by
JoJoLand
the way."
Choose Your Own Adventure game. I need to make it.
By the way, I know what the spin is. Refuses to elaborate further, dies.
understandable, Mamazuku.
Have a nice afterlife.
Man,
That was literally what happened.
JoJoLand. It literally makes me upset. Mamazuku should have been
Yeah.
Rock Human.
He should have been not wasted as a character.
He should have kept doing his silly thing where he made probabilities. I liked that.
Yeah.
Mamazuku was so cool. Do you remember when him and Josuke were just like palling around?
Yeah, and they were on the ski lift, and he gave them like
And
strawberry.
he pushed Yasuo off the lift.
I know. I wish we got more time of that trio of
Mhm.
him only liking. It was like a reverse Rohan situation where he loves the JoJo, but he hates all the side characters.
Right. That was so cute, also. Every time that Rohan has to remind us that he very much dislikes Josuke, it's hilarious.
But he loves Koichi.
Yeah, and, so does Jotaro. Honestly, everyone regarded Josuke as kind of like an imposition, and he has to be here too. But
exactly.
Koichi, Jotaro considered Koichi, reliable in the way that he could send him to Italy and get this shit done.
I know, that's still hilarious to me too, that Koichi became one of Jotaro's apprentices and not Josuke, his weird uncle. That's
Jotaro,
10 years younger than him.
I get that he doesn't want to rope this kid into this and just have make him tag along for all of his crazy spirit battles that he's gonna have to do because he's Jotaro. But he should have brought Koichi to fucking
To the
No,
prison.
you know
no,
what
not
I
to
think-
the
what I
prison,
think it was?
but when he showed back up at the end to go to
Oh,
help
fair
Jolene
enough.
against
Yeah.
Cactus guy, Sea Moon.
You know what I
guy.
think? No, you know what I think it was the reason that he sent Koichi and not Josuke to Italy.
It was the Joestar birthmark. He would have been able to sense him.
Well, actually, I was gonna say because Rohan doesn't like Josuke.
And wouldn't give him the ability to.
And wouldn't give him the ability to speak Italian.
That's fucking funny.
Or he would just give him like a really selective vocabulary so that he only says incriminating things.
Yeah, he
That's
would make it so that he's
Rohan
just
thing
an
to
asshole to everyone. Everyone
Yeah,
hates him.
he can
speak Italian, but it's
fluent
only like the thing that person wants to hear the least of any sentence in the world.
Exactly. He can only speak like the most offensive Italian ever.
That would have been a really funny like episode.
Jotaro tried to convince Rohan to teach Josuke Italian. Like, Rohan, come on, you just open him up and write it in him. It'll take you 2 seconds. He needs to know Italian for this. And Rohan, like, walks over to his bookshelf and takes off, like, a beginner's guide to conversational Italian and hands it to him. He's like, then I suggest he starts reading. Rohan,
says nothing.
be reasonable.
Just hands over the... Says nothing, just hands over the
hands over the book,
Italian
goes right back to his manga desk, sits down, starts drawing wordlessly. Jotaro stands there for a few extra seconds, and Rohan says, "Oh, you're still here? Sorry, I'm a little busy. You can see yourself out." I don't know. Maybe does his opinion on Josuke change at all after Highway Star, or no?
Not
meaningfully.
No. No,
Maybe
not
subtly.
I actually think the narrator says something to the effect that Rohan's opinion has not changed much for Josuke.
That's pretty good.
Because he's literally like upset that Josuke saved him from that situation.
And when he
He's like,
refuses to give up Josuke, it's not because of any nobility towards Josuke. He's just like, I just love telling people no.
Exactly, yeah. I just wanted to be contrarian for fun.
He's like, honestly, like the greatest hater in JoJo history. He's got supreme hater energy. He wakes up in the morning unmatched.
Like, not even Dio himself.
I was gonna say, not even Dio.
Anyone has hated anyone more than Rohan.
I have no loyalty towards Josuke, but fuck you.
I have no loyalty to anyone. Shorty chose to be with a demon. Sounds like her problem to me. Ha ha. I'm nice with it.
I'm nice with it. I have no routine or structure that gives my life purpose or meaning.
Fire Zaza got me my circadian rhythm destroyed. Whatever he says.
Oh.
All right, so this is the end of the chapter. He gets in the car and he's driving away. Do we have anything to say that we think... We've made some cool predictions. Paco flashback. He's not going to be afraid.
Zaza got me speaking Esperanto. Do you want to predict what these stands are called? The cops and the Ningbos? Do you have any predictions or guesses?
Yeah. Memphis, Tennessee. I have no fucking idea. We don't know what the nematodes are called yet.
Honestly, it feels like a fruitless endeavor at this point to try and predict what a stand name is going to be, because it's never what we expect.
No, I'm gonna say because it's either something really obvious or something we never would have guessed in a million years. Like my first initial reaction when I read the chapter was I thought the inflation stand might be called 99 Red Balloons.
I mean, the thing is, though, like, only fan stands are named like that. Where the name actually has a lot to do with the...
thematically appropriate,
right.
Yeah.
Like, even my fan stand, Mr. Moon, it's able to set small objects into orbit around you. So you can have, like, you could pick up 2 handfuls of gravel and just throw them, and they would become an asteroid belt circling you at the speed you threw it. You have a small gravitational pull. And you can activate and deactivate it, so if somebody shot a bullet at you, you could just step to the side, catch it in your gravitational swing, and then just turn off gravity when it comes around the other side.
It comes
fire
back
out.
Yeah.
You could have something spinning around you and around and around and around, and then just turn it off and have it fire out in that direction. But yeah, so even my fan stand, Mr. Moon, is trying to not be a too on the nose music name, you know? Like, if it makes balloons, then they're gonna name it balloons, like that kind of thing. But it still is. Like, a moon is a satellite, and there's an orbit thing happening. I don't know, like, Earth, Wind, and Fire was able to summon meteors from space. There's something there, you know?
That was Planet Waves. Earth, Wind,
That
and
was
Fire was
Planet-
the transforming
Yeah.
stand.
Okay. Fuck you.
Also, there are some that are semi-specific to their either their design or ability.
Sure, Killer Queen in the song Dynamite with a Laser Beam, he blows stuff up. It's explosions. There's something there. But fuck, I want to go back to this Earth, Wind, and Fire thing. Because I don't agree that it should be called Planet Waves, man. I think that of the two of them, fucking Mikitaka should have gotten renamed. He should be Planet Waves.
It's also like the Tower of Grey versus
and fucking
Superfly.
Superfly, right? Superfly is
You
the
should
Tower
be
of
in this
Grey.
boat, Snake.
Not me.
Also, Sticky Fingers ability being zippers, and the reference is an album of a zipper.
Okay, so like
That's a
Rocky
neat one.
does it sometimes. The Aphex
But
twins
not all-
are literally twins.
Yeah. Does it sometimes, but not all the time.
But their stand is called Scott Key.
Wait a second.
Scott
number
Key
1
1
and
and
2?
2.
Guys, we've
yeah.
literally been ignoring the most obvious fucking thing that's staring us right in the face. November rain.
It rains.
It makes
It make
rain.
ra- It makes rain. It make rain.
It make rain. It's gonna rain.
It go rain.
I feel
raining.
like I feel like it had to be that though.
Well, sure.
I
Like,
mean, the
either way,
protagonist
if
stand-
that ability exists, it has to be called November Rain. And if there's a stand called November Rain, it has to do that.
Yeah. It can't really do much else.
I mean, that's what it's gotta be.
Until we get to the localization, and then they call it November JOJOLands.
We'll call it
Honestly,
October Snow.
they could just call it December Rain and get away with it. Like, it would suck, but they all suck. This is why we don't watch the fucking dub, you guys.
It is true.
All right, well, I think that about wraps it up for us this week on the motherfucking... This month on the Locacacast. I hope that next time we don't have to cover 3 chapters in a speed run, but, you know, you'll see us when you see us.
Life comes at you fast.
Catch you on the Flipcast. Okay, all right.